definitely. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series Season 12, Round 3. We are at Misano for a mini endurance race. That means 90 minutes of racing. We are currently here for Split Blue, and by all accounts, it seems as though we have a moist track for qualifying. Looking forward to see what the drivers can get up to. Michael Velasquez, welcome back to the booth. How are we, mate?
Hey, thanks for the welcome back. Yeah, I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a bit of a busy day, but happy to be here and see a cow in its natural environment enjoying the rain in Italy, I guess. Really looking forward to this. I mean, these mini enduros are always good fun, throws a little bit of spice into it, and then, of course, when you make it wet, that just definitely adds another level to it. So excited to see what the guys can get up to. What are your thoughts, your opinions on Misano as a track?
Oh, Misano was pretty. It's got an interesting flow to it in the drive. But now that for our drivers here, they have to drive in the wet, maybe, at least for qualifying. It gets a bit interesting because when you drive Misano in dry, you have to eat all the curbs, take as much track as you can. Now you're trying to avoid them, try to get the car um, on the racing surface, not try to eat too much curb. I think I haven't really driven in the wet. It's very scary. But yeah, we'll see how the drivers handle the changing conditions, and hopefully I'll stay wet during the race.
Yeah, I'm hoping, well, either for a wet race or at least a race that starts wet or gets wet. Those mixed conditions are certainly where the racing for me becomes the most interesting. But yeah, as you said, interesting track because it's doing a fast lap time around Misano is very much dependent on absolutely abusing track limits and a lot of the curves. And in the wet, that's not so easy to do. So yeah, it becomes very tricky to remain valid on a push lap. Very easy to invalidate at quite a few spots. So yeah, we might see a couple of the big names maybe miss out a little bit or struggle to get that proper lap together. But I think we'll see probably a couple of the familiar faces up near the front with Matt Lamb and Paul Britt.
Speaking of Matt Lamb, we have a very tight um, battle for the championship. So Matt Lamb, he's currently in the lead with 263 points. Behind him is Maddox with 249. Vediger a bit further off with 202 points. And for the Pro-Am, also have quite a close battle as well. Bub now with 159. And trailing behind him is Sean Muller. So let's go, McLaren. Nichols, 115 points. And for the M class, we have Brett Orcel with 30 points, James Lawrence with 29 points, and John Stockton with 10 points. So M class pretty close. Pretty excited to see how the championship will unravel today.
Still 3 rounds to go for these guys, so definitely some ground to make up. Of course, Paul Britt missed the race last week, so he'll be looking for a good result. Maddox been keeping his nose out of trouble, doing well to get some very, very solid results together. And of course, Matt Lamb, he is one of the resident aliens here in OR, as we know, so he's a very difficult man to beat, and I'd be interested to see how it goes today. Not sure if this is the strongest track for the Porsche. Haven't really checked that swear word that everybody calls BOP for here, but I know the McLaren is very strong here, and of course the Honda and a couple of other cars are still very competitive here. So it'll be interesting to see if Britt is able to challenge him. We also have Stacy. We have Michael Babb back in his beloved Bentley there. Maddox, as we said, been very competitive so far this season. So yeah, fair few names. Of course, Vettiger has been rapid when he's been able to put the laps together. Last week, if I recall correctly, he had an issue. His dad sent me a message. I think it was a throttle pedal or something that was only going to 80%, so he was struggling a little bit for pace in last week's race, but he certainly found some pace this week, currently almost half a second clear of Paul Britt. And yeah, I think we'll certainly see some other names pop up in there. Matt Lamb haven't put a lap together yet. Chris Stacey has been very competitive, part of the Speedy My team. So yeah, if you had to call it now, who's going to get on pole, Michael?
Considering how talented Matt Lamb is and how the Porsche is great in the wet, I'd probably place my bets on him.
Okay, that's a bit of a safe bet, so I'll let you have it. But seeing as I could bet for Matt Lamb now, I'm gonna put my money on Vettiger. He's a very strong driver overall, but he's shown some fantastic performances in the rain as well. Just see if he can put a proper performance together here, and maybe you see he's improved again. He's now almost a second clear up there. And yeah, I'm gonna put my money on Vettiger. So we shall see in about 7.5 minutes who picked correctly.
Yeah, the Ferrari is a good choice as well for the wet tracks. I've always had a great time whenever there's rain and I'm in a Ferrari. So I like your bet as well. That's a pretty good bet.
Well, I mean, it's a bit of a cheat code when you just choose the guy who's currently at the top of the standings, but it's not only based on that, it is based on previous performances. You see Matt Lamb there finally gets a lap together. Paul Britt here coming around the final corner. He is a second and a little bit up, so he will slot into pole position in that McLaren. And he's 2/10 clear of Vettiger there, so Vettiger with some time to find if he wants to win me my free coffee. You'll send a copy from the Philippines, right? Is that possible? Or?
Yes, coffee is like a staple drink here.
See Matt Lamb here. He is up 8/10 already. He's a second 1.1 behind Paul Britt, so he still has about 3/10 that he needs to find. Maybe there's some time remaining in his final sector for him. There's a yellow flag up ahead. Hopefully doesn't impede his lap and he gets all out of shape there. He still manages to gain time, so I'm not sure if this track is evolving or drivers are just sort of getting a little bit more comfortable, but the times are dropping as he drifts it into the second last corner. Gains a little bit on the exit here. He's going to need to find a tiny bit more time through the final corner. Is it enough? Another drift there. Gains on the exit. Oh, he's definitely gaining up. He must have messed up his exit on his previous best, and he does take back pole position. Vettiger has improved, but not quite enough yet.
That was an insane last few corners. He was sliding all over the place, and there you go. Got pole eventually.
Yeah, well, provisional at this stage. It seems as though everybody is still improving. See Maddox is up there as well. He's not too far off those guys. And Chris Stacey has a bit of time to find. And then it's very close in that sort of P6 to 10 position. Best is confirmed. And we got confirmation there from Phylord Racing that car number 5 will be serving a 4-place grid penalty. I'm not 100% sure who car number 5 is, but he may have been a slightly naughty boy.
Yeah, better watch out with the blue flags. We're giving space and whatnot, so yeah.
Especially in these conditions, it's so easy to get caught out. So yeah, probably nothing intentional there, but it does happen. See Barrelon here. Another driver who has some fantastic pace. He's just struggled a little bit to sort of put consistent performances together. But when he does put it together, he's always up sort of near the pointy end. So hopefully he'll be getting back up into that top 10-ish. And as we just have a look at the regulars in chat and say hi to everybody. Greg Dale, always first. Gamepad lad, he sounds familiar, but I think that's something that we need to discuss, as John pointed out as well. We can't keep calling you Gamepad lad now that you're on the wheel, mate. So have you figured out a new name, or shall we'll give it to chat, and whatever chat says, or whatever is the majority, you have to change it to that. I think that sounds fair.
I think that's a pretty cool idea for chat as well. Cause yeah, gamepad lad no more.
Wheelie McWheel face. I think that's my recommendation.
Ah yes, the McWheel.
And of course, we have Jan Tully in. Good evening, Jan. Hi, Pat Oliver. Knockbone. 1NE Triple T. And Demario Hasnem, after a fantastic performance last night, starting from the back of the grid, finishing P5. Wonderful performance there by him. And those are the regulars that are in chat. I'm sure there's some more people that are lurking but not saying too much. And we are on board here with Paralon again. He is up by 7/10 at the moment. Because off the road pretty much everywhere. But still improving. Wheel detail back. Okay. Still gaining a little bit of time here. This is gonna move him up a fair chunk of positions. If he can just get this final corner together, don't go too wide, don't get on those sausages, nails it. Good exit for him. He will improve by 1.1 seconds, puts him into the top 10 in P8, only 9/10 off of the leader.
Yeah, what an amazing improvement. He's got to be finding some more time, and perhaps the track is already evolving as well.
Yep, as you see, Paul Britt pops it back up into pole position. A teammate of Matt Lamb going a ding for dong, and currently it is Paul Britt coming out on top. Shane McLaws here, another driver who can put in some stellar qualifying performances. This time might be good enough to move him up into the top 10 if he can keep it together for the rest of the lap here. I think we may have a winner from Pat Oliver there, Shaquille O'Wheel, which is
Oh yes, I agree
which is
with
a
that.
pretty good one.
I might use that for his channel as well, because I have to change my channel name as well, sadly.
Well, yeah, as Gamepad Lad, formerly known as Shane McLaws, definitely improving quite a lot here in the final sector. He has gained, lost a little bit on the exit there, just got a bit squirrely. Still pretty big improvement. That's going to be good enough for P9, slots in just behind Lachlan Nichols there. Very, very close in that sort of upper top 10 from P5. Sean Bub now in P5. What a fantastic performance by him. 2 pro-ams there in the top 6 at the moment. So not a lot of time remaining here. Matt Lamb coming into this final sort of sector. 2 more corners remaining. He lost a little bit on the exit there, gained a lot on the apex there. 1 more corner to go. He needs to keep this green delta going. Nails it on the entry. Good exit. Good enough. Will it be good enough? ACC deltas always like to mess us around, but it is enough. He is less than a 10th ahead of Paul Britt. Is Paul Britt still on a lap? Vettiger is on a lap. He will be finishing that lap without a positive delta, I think. Paul Britt not able to improve, but he has 1 more lap to go. He has timed it to perfection there. So yeah, it seems as though your bet is pretty safe at the moment, but Vettiger and Lamb both still on laps. I don't think Vettiger has enough in hand unless he had a very, very shaky final 2 sectors. Say that as his delta starts going green, but then goes back to red. So I think Britt and Lamb is safe. It's merely a question of is Britt able to improve. And of course, Maddox is also still on a lap. Not 100% sure. No, he has invalidated in the final sector there. So it's up to these 3 guys to decide who starts on pole at the moment.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense qualifying session right now as qualifying ends. We'll see. Oh, Matt Lamb has pitted, so it's up to Paul Britt and Vettiger to change up the order perhaps for the top 3. Maybe there might be someone else in the mix, but yeah, top 5 already separated by a second, so P1 to P5 a second already. As Vettiger doesn't improve, so let's see what Paul Britt has to offer for us.
A little bit down at the moment, so unless he can have an absolute miracle final sector here, I think it's safe to say that Matt Lamb will be on pole. But Scani here, he is improving by 3/10 at the moment, which will do nothing as it seems. Okay, no, never mind, sorry, that was a mistake, but that will be enough for 1 position. So Lexus not renowned for its wet weather abilities. It does have a traction control that's more like an on-off switch. So doing well just to keep it on track for the most part.
I don't see a car on track.
Scani is still on track. He is about to cross the line, and he has crossed the line.
Alright, we have some wet conditions.
And
Remember that curves
it
are
is
slippery. Watch your braking
starting
distance.
wet with reduced rain in about, well, 8 to 10 minutes, I would say.
Oh, now this is spicy.
The track is wet, so you have no choice but to start on those wet tires. The format for today, for those unfamiliar, it's a 90-minute race with no mandatory pit stops. So, in theory, if you're brave enough, or stupid enough, as some might say, can do 90 minutes without a pit stop. If you manage to get the fuel all the way there, the tires will be on fire by the end of it, most likely, but it is possible. I don't think we'll see that. We will see a fourth pit stop with these weather conditions. The question is, when does it stop raining, and is it close enough towards the end, or sort of enough time into the race to be able to stop only once and have enough fuel to the end of the race?
Yeah, that is the question that every single driver is thinking about right now. It's going to be pretty interesting for us viewers, but for the drivers, it's going to be stressful. And whoever wins the strategy lottery will probably gain some positions, get some good points for this race.
Yeah, we saw last night there was a couple of pretty effective sort of undercuts. Well, for the podium, John got onto the podium after a very good pit stop and outlap. So undercuts and overcuts not particularly strong in this game, but Misano being as heavy as it is on tires, it does open that ability a little bit if you can get the timing right and get some free air on your outlap to potentially get an undercut done on the car that you're maybe in a close fight with. So, yeah, as John pointed out, it has pretty much stopped raining. It's very light rain, but track is wet. So there's no point. Well, I don't know. There might be a point, but it doesn't seem logical to start on dry tires. They will just absolutely grind to death. Um, but if you want to stretch out that first stint a little bit, that might be the necessary call. So yeah, you're a driver, Michael. You make the call. What do you do? Do you start on dries? Do you start on wets?
I'd definitely start on wets, considering how the track is wet. And I don't know, I just can't imagine surviving on dries for the start, considering how um, Misano's kind of narrow, at least compared to some other tracks. So, dries, wet track, not a good combination.
Yeah, true. So as Megan D points out there, 15 minutes into the race is enough to fuel to the end. So yeah, the rain is gonna stop in probably the next, I would say, 5 to 8 minutes. Matt Lamb on the dry tires. So there we go. Whether that's intentional or not, Paul Britt on. Oh, it's okay. A couple of people going for that dry call. Matt, Robert Maddox there. Or when I say a couple of people, okay, so more than two, unfortunately. Steve Lewis there. And Wenzel. A couple of other drivers in Malloy there, it seems. Oh, Dickinson, sorry. Yep. So, yeah, interesting calls. We'll see how this plays out. But might be brave, might be stupid. But at the end of the day, only the drivers can blame themselves as they make the choices.
And now this makes for an interesting start of the race, since there are people who are starting on the dries. As
Track
we see, the
has
track is
already gone
down.
damp. Yep. Okay. I think those drivers on the dry tires may not be as as wrong as we might think. There's quite a few cars on track. Track has already gone to damp, so yeah, it might go greasy fairly quickly, maybe 2 or 3 laps. Gonna take a little while to get to optimum, but yeah, might be 2 or 3 laps of suffering for those on the dry tires, and then the tires should start coming good.
Yeah, and the thing for most of the drivers, at least, is that they don't know what the others are running. So they have to be careful, especially if they run into a driver with dries. So yeah, it'll be pretty spicy to see as they are heading for double file, I believe.
It's a pretty early double file, but yeah, there we go as they come into this final sector. And yeah, as we round into this final sector of Misano here, we can take one final look at the grid for today. We have Matthew Lamb on pole, Paul Britt in P2, Joshua Vettiger, Robert Maddox, Sean Babnow, Tom McDonald, Chris Stacey, Lachlan Nichols, and I think that is Shane McLaws. It's a little bit small. Apologies for that. Alexander Barrelon, Steve Lewis, Callum Gibbons, Jamie Conboy, and Michael Babb, Doug Wilson, Robert Wenzel, Jake McKellar, Shad Sugden, Zach Malloy. And Will Dickinson is the top 20 here for us today. As they come around the final corner, Matt Lamb will be holding the field at 80 kilometers an hour. He's on the dry tires. Will that affect him off the start? Will Paul Britt be able to get the jump in that McLaren that's notoriously slow off the start? And it's green light. Lamb with a good start, Britt with a strong start, Maddox in that Audi with a great start, tries to go around the outside of Vettiger. That's going to give him the inside into turn 2. Vettiger a little bit deep there. Maddox not quite close enough to get the move done towards the back of the field. There doesn't appear to be too much drama as of yet, but this first sector is very tricky. And see there, Tom McDonald trying for a little move up the inside. Chris Stacey trying for a move around the outside. Overall, a lot of close racing, but so far, so good. As it looks as though Matt Lamb had a bit of a crappy exit there out of turn 6. He is under all sorts of pressure from Paul Britt at the front there. Britt trying to go around the outside there. Lamb parks the car on the inside, goes a little bit deep on those dry tires. Will Britt be able to get the move done? He is clear. That's going to put Lamb under pressure from Vettiger behind. As we see at the back there, it looks like McDonald has gotten past Maddox as well. He is on the inside. Lamb under all sorts of pressure here, but this is still very early in the race. Not a lot of incidents so far. It looks as though Zach Malloy had a bit of an incident there. He's towards the back of the field, but at the front, Paul Britt is clearing off. Robert Maddox trying to put the pressure back on McDonald there. Chris Stacey with a move on Maddox. He must have gotten a major exit out of that hairpin as well. A couple of the Alliance Gold team drivers here. Double teaming Alexander Barrelon, who is up into P9 at the moment. Chris Stacey up the inside of Maddox. Maddox really struggling on those dry tires at the moment. Oh, not given a lot of space there. Back out of it. Luckily nobody is around, but he does lose an additional 2 positions. And he's under pressure from Barrelon now as well. And apart from that, it's been a fairly clean first lap. And yeah, I'm out of breath, so you can take over now.
Yeah, it's a very clean first lap, as you said. Shame to the driver who got pushed to the curb. Well, it's not really pushing, but in the wets, there's no more grip on that. So yeah, that's why he lost a lot of positions. Not a place you want to be in when it's in these conditions. But yeah, as we see here, Matt Lamb still losing some more positions. He's got a very bad line through there and is now down to P5. So yeah, the Ferraris have overtaken him, and we'll see how this race goes. Hopefully he'll be able to keep the car pointing straight. And yeah, at this point I think it's just damage limitation.
Ooh, that's a big old send there. Oh, luckily Maddox didn't go around there. Barrelon just a little boop on the back there, but we had, I think it was, who was that in the Lamborghini? Lachlan Nichols with an absolute send up the inside, everybody reacting. And I think that caused Maddox to check up a little bit, which Barrelon could not quite react to. But that shouldn't be too much damage, as we have a free wide here. Matt Lamb getting absolutely bollocked in this opening stint of this race. He just does not have an answer on those dry tires at the moment. Getting a big old squeeze there from McLaws towards the outside, but everybody gets through safely.
Yeah, that 3 wide was something. Pretty sure someone will take a very nice picture of that.
Definitely hope so. As we see Sean Babnow there in P5, there's been talk for ages now of him getting a pro tag. Somehow he keeps avoiding it. I don't know. I really want to see what photos he has of Malak at home. There, Lachlan Nichols very wide, along with Matt Lamb as well. It's not the optimal line through the final corner. Doug Wilson trying it around the outside. Very risky place, but it will give him the inside if he can stay along enough. He is alongside. Nichols late on the brakes, good exit there, manages to stay ahead of Wilson, and now Matt Lamb is under pressure from Barrelon as well. Pretty late defensive move there. I'm not sure if that was defensive or just losing the rear end, but at the end of the day, it was all safe there for everybody. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Paul Britt's absolutely cleared off. He is 3 seconds ahead of Vettiger already. Vettiger currently with nothing to answer back at Paul Britt.
Yeah, the dry running drivers are losing quite a lot of positions, so I'd say this is a wrong strat for now, but we'll see how things unfold as in a couple of minutes go to overcast. But then again, it's a pretty cold track and it's night, so I'm not going to be expecting quite a quick drying track for the next couple of minutes. But yeah, we'll see how things go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's still a long time to go in this race, 1 hour 25 minutes, but currently it doesn't appear as though that dry tire strategy is working out. Robert Maddox has dropped from P4 to P15 already. Matt Lamb dropped from P1 to P9 at the moment, and still coming under lots of pressure from Barrelon behind him. Meanwhile, at the front, Paul Britt is just running away with it, and it has officially stopped raining. So we might see the track go to greasy sometime in the next couple of laps, but as you said, most likely not going to be drying out particularly quickly, and those drivers on the wet tires should be able to stretch them out until about 1 hour 15, 1 hour 10 minutes remaining in this race, and be able to do one long stint towards the end.
I'm not sure how this will pan out, but do you think the dries are gonna grain since it's pretty
Yes.
cold?
Absolutely. Well, they would grain on a dry track, and now you're taking them from a wet track onto a dry track. That's going to be they are absolutely will be suffering from the graining. The only, I don't know, there's no real benefit at the moment from this strategy that I can make out. And as Megan D points out as well, there is a very strong wind, so there's every chance that we see some more rain later in this race. And in which case, it might screw over these drivers on the wet tires at the moment, as they may need to sort of pit twice. So yeah, don't check in your bets yet. There's still a lot that can happen in this race.
It's been a while since I've seen a grid on a night track, so it's pretty cool to see all these headlights.
Yeah, I mean, it's ACC is a pretty looking game at the best, well, even at the worst of times, but in a night race in the wet, it's just an absolutely stunning looking game. Here, convoy right behind the HMAS from Michael Babb. Luckily, it seems as though he has his livery sorted this week, looking a bit better than last week. But yeah, coming under all kinds of pressure from convoy, and just ahead of them we have Callum Gibbons and your pole sitter Matthew Lamb, currently P10. Must not be liking life very much at the moment after that strategic call at the beginning.
Yeah, it's good to see Michael Babb again. I was wondering where he went. Apparently he just moved to another split.
Yeah, he's been having, I think he's been, as we see Aston Martin take a fascinating line through there. It's a replay of, that's not the line you want to take there.
Oh,
Whoa!
no.
The reaction did not work well there.
Oh no, that was close.
Okay. I think too bad, actually. They're fairly well avoided by everybody involved.
Yeah, just some unfortunate wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing.
See here, Chris Stacey, AMG versus Ferrari down the straight. It's a fairly tricky track for overtaking here, unless you can get a great exit out of that hairpin preceding the back not straight. There's not really a lot of overtaking opportunities in general here, so quite tricky if you're not much faster than the car ahead to generate an overtake.
As we see Robert Wenzel, he's gotten a penalty for causing a collision on lap 1.
Oh, he started near Malloy, and Malloy was the one car that was going a little bit slowly there, so maybe something to do with that, as Alexander Barrelon also gets a penalty that is most likely for that little boop to the back of Robert Maddox's Audi. So Maddox, sorry.
Oh yeah, Paul Britt's still fastest car on track. He's done a 40 high. So, yep, still well ahead in terms of pace against the other drivers.
Yeah, he is a very, very strong driver. Of course, him and Matt Lamb being teammates and being a very strong team in the endurance team. So both ultra fast drivers in their own right, and Paul Britt just showing us what he's capable of today after missing last week. See Michael Babb here putting a lot of pressure on the Moo Mobile ahead of him. Callum Gibbons. The Bentley is probably the most intimidating sight in a rear view mirror. It's just so big and bulky. So we'll be hoping to either get some pace out of nowhere and clear off ahead of Babs, or Babs to get by safely sooner rather than later.
As a McLaren driver, being behind a Bentley and BMW is a nightmare to look out for your braking references. I find myself always having to go a bit offline just to see where my references are.
Yeah, the Beamer is such a, it doesn't look quite that big when you're just sort of looking at it in general, but there you can see in comparison to the Bentley, it's about the same size, and when it's next to a McLaren, it's actually quite comical how much bigger it is than a McLaren. So yeah, I can imagine it's not the easiest car to be following behind.
Any liveries you fancy tonight?
I do love McKellar's, the one that we're actually looking at now. I love the Transformer sort of Hot Wheelsy kind of look that he has going. Yeah, I think in this split, it's still Convoy is still probably my favorite with the Milkmobile, with the sort of classic McLaren livery with the milk injected into it. As we see there, Nichols with a move on McLaws. I'm not sure if these guys have team orders active, but it doesn't appear to be that way. Team principal has said let them race, and they are having a fair old go at it. But yeah, if I have to remember, I mean, Chris Stacey has one of the nicer liveries. It's like a proper racing livery from the Speedy Mike guys that they all run. Another penalty there for Neil Wood for jumping at the start. But yeah, I don't know. Turcolini actually has one of the best ones, the Four Horsemen livery that he has as well. And yourself, which would what's your personal favorite?
Before I go to my favorite, I just remembered what McKellar's livery was based on. I think it's like Jeff Gordon's NASCAR livery back then, like early 2000s or mid 2000s. So that's what it reminded me of. Favorite livery, I like Convoy's livery as well. Britt and Vediger's liveries, I think, are my favorite for the split.
Yeah, they're like proper racing liveries. You have I like Callum Gibbons' livery is awesome, but it's like a proper meme livery. And then Britt and, like you said, Vetiger, a couple of the other guys have the proper, like real professional looking racing liveries. So yeah, hard to say, but if I had to choose one, it would be Convoy's one in this split particularly.
Yeah, it's simple but it's iconic.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a meme twist on it as well. So to memify it up quite enough to make it funny. But yeah, so currently looking at the standings, Paul Britt has the fastest lap. He has absolutely cleared off at the front. Joshua Vettiger 7.2 seconds behind him. He has run away from Tom McDonald in turn as well, about 5-second gap there. Chris Stacey placing a lot of pressure on the back of that Ferrari of McDonald in P4. John Babb now quietly running in P5. Quite a lot of Pro-Ams up in the top 10 at the moment. The majority of the top 10 seems to be Pro-Ams at the moment, so quite an unusual sight that you don't often see.
Alright, so Paul Britt got another fastest lap. So track seems to be improving, but not to the point where the dries can take
There it goes
advantage of.
greasy. Just went greasy as you were saying it.
Oh wow.
Good timing. So some improvement, but it's still going to take a couple of laps for those drives to really come into their own as well. And we see Rugras and Stug Wilson in chat. He had to retire due to technical troubles with his wheel. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's an F.
See here, Wilke Apreciado. He's running a little bit out of position. More used to seeing him towards that top 10 there, so he'll be looking to move forward a little bit here. Just behind Damiano Thurcolini. And we see Brad McDonald and Steve Lewis battling there. McDonald with an interesting line there. Manages to put it up. See Apreciado run wide in the back as well. McDonald seems to have either defended well or gotten ahead of Lewis. I'm not quite sure what was happening during that battle. And Scani here in the Lexus. Shadow gets that doesn't count in the commentators because he didn't crash. So, but he does get a penalty.
Yeah, so more people are getting caught for jumping the start. Since there are, I think, 3 now in total who are caught and given a 10-second penalty each.
There we go. Ken Sugden out of position for, so that is also a start infringement. Maybe misjudging the gap ahead of him or dropping back a little bit too far or something, but either way, he has been served a 10-second penalty. So, yeah, now is the time when this sort of starts getting a little bit interesting to see whether those dry runners will start getting some pace back. I think Matt Lamb has hurt his chances at a win a little bit too much here, but given the pace that he's able to extract out of that car, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still on for podium by the end of this race, keeping in mind it is still 1 hour and 14 minutes remaining, so it's still a sprint race plus a little bit of extra time to go. A lot of time for many things to happen, but yeah, I don't think anybody looks capable of catching Mr. Britt at the moment.
Yeah, Brit still making a gap from P2, now around 8.5 seconds. So, nope, no one's got the pace yet to beat him.
Yeah, the problem for Matt Lamb, of course, is when he starts getting that pace, he has a lot of traffic that he's going to be having to deal with. So, yeah, he's not going to be able to extract even the 90% of the pace out of those grained dry tires that he... Oh, as we see, Lachlan Nichols there just runs into the back of Noski. Sean Bob now there. Quite unfortunate, just yeah, pretty weird incident there. It seems as though Nichols got a much better run or just didn't quite anticipate the speed that Babna was carrying. But fortunately for Babna there, he's only lost about 5 or 6 positions, so not the end of the world. Unfortunately now he is stuck in a battle with Convoy and Babs as well.
So Ruggers asked how many others started on wets. Actually, everyone but 3 that we saw started on wets. So there's your answer.
Yeah, Dux, I think it was, who was it? Lamb, Maddox, Lewis, and 1 other driver started on the dries. And that's about it, so, yep. See Brad McDonald here. He is moving forward away from Steve Lewis. He is now on the back of Tom Kidman, trying to get 16th position from him there. And a tight little battle here in the mid-back. Quite a lot of penalties that will have to be served as well during the pit stops. So, yeah, a couple of drivers will be gaining some positions. Obviously, many drivers will be losing positions with those penalties. Brad McDonald, speaking of penalties, he receives a 15-second penalty for a collision on lap 2.
Yeah, so after the pit stops, we'll see a bunch of position changes since they served their penalties during the pit stop phase. really feeling like
Christus-
a throwback with McKellar's livery. I remember like the old NASCAR games.
The big 24 with the DuPont livery on it. Was a fantastic livery from old Jeff Gordon. But we see Chris Stacey is the first one to bite the bullet. That maybe a little bit early will have some graining tires, but it's quite brave of him to make that call so early, and hopefully he comes out in clean air. I suspect he may be in a little bit of traffic. But hopefully he gets some clean air and we can get an indication of what those dry tires are capable of under current conditions.
Yeah, if drivers got race engineers, they'll be watching Stacy and see how they'll move up the field. Hopefully, maybe not, but I assume that Stacy will have a good time trying to overtake other people, especially with the switch to the dries on a greasy track, which is not too bad for dries. As Zach Malloy, 15-second penalty for dangerous driving on lap 3. Oh no.
As we see, so Stacy coming out of pits there, he's car number 7, he's gonna be in a nice little patch of clean air, car about 5 or 6 seconds up the road there, but he will have a couple of laps to sort of really push and try and get some temperature into those tires. It's going to be tricky on a greasy track in these cold conditions, but I think that will be the most realistic representation of what these tires are capable of at the moment. I think Matt Lamb and them will really struggle to extract much pace out of it, although Matt Lamb has moved back up into P7 there, Robert Maddox up into P13 as well. So a couple of drivers sort of moving up through the field again, the drivers who started on the dry tires. I think we're just about past the sort of crossover point where the dry tires will start becoming a little bit faster than the wets.
Yeah,
Dival's,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, Dival's asking if the Merc can make 110 minutes. Honestly, I'm not sure. It should be able to. It's not as fuel hungry as it used to be after one of the latest updates, but yeah, it's a bit tricky. Ooh, Jamie Convoy with a very, very alternate line there. Through turn 6 manages to keep it together, but he has completely compromised his run out of there. Will allow McKellar up the inside, and McKellar should be able to get that move done. Convoy going for the old switcheroo, but McKellar, wise old mind, just pops it on the apex, and Convoy not really able to do anything in return. And he loses himself a position there.
Yeah, I'd be grateful that I'm still alive. I'd expect that convoy to just jump over the curbs after losing that and going sideways to the sausage curbs. So, yeah, I'm honestly surprised that it's alive.
Maybe going sideways over the sausages is how you survive them. Oh, Tom McDonald with a drive-through. That may be for track limits because there was no race control that came up, and we also saw Chris Stacey get a penalty for a collision, and Brad McDonald has a drive-through as well. Lachlan Nichols with a 15-second penalty. What is going on?
You get a drive-through. You get a drive-through. Everyone gets a drive-through.
Can somebody remove Oprah from the steward box and just sort of chill out a little bit, because it's very hard to keep up with this. See a couple of more drivers there. Shane McLaws, Callum Gibbons diving into the pit lane. He'll good as well towards the back of the field. Eric Scani. Very tricky pit entry there, as we see he clips the wall on the inside just to give us a prime example. Very early on the pit limit. That was probably about 20-30 meters early. But it's a good way to avoid any pit lane penalties, I would say. Brad McDonald serving his drive-through as well. I'm assuming that is for track limits as well. That's a pretty speedy track limit penalty, getting that in 23 minutes?
Yeah, and a drive-through, this is not one of the tracks where a drive-through is particularly enticing, especially given how slow and sort of long pit lane is. So you're spending a lot of time there, and yeah, precious time. You're gonna lose some track position, and you gotta pit as well for your fuel and perhaps tires. Actually, different tires.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's not quite as bad as Spa. See Matt Lamb here battling with Lachlan Nichols, trying to get back up towards that podium positions. vehicles dive into the pits? He does indeed. So these wet runners are having to jump off of those wet tires, and it'll be interesting to see if there's maybe an update in that weather, and we have some rain coming in the next 30 minutes or so. These drivers on the dry tires may have made an absolute, well, lucky but genius call. So they'll definitely be hoping for some form of an update in the weather widget that we have some rain later in this race. But Matt Lamb back up into P3 thanks to some pit stop taking place, and he should be able to run for at least another probably 15-20 minutes. Most likely fueled for at least an hour or so to open up the strategy from top. So yeah, certainly will be interesting to see how things play out while these pit stops sort of run through.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering what Albrecht's strategy is. In these conditions, I would pit pretty quickly, pretty soon, especially given how cooked the wet tires are. As Wallace has said in the chat, with JC's wets, the rear left is super hot.
It's a big moment for Jaira there. Yeah, as you said, I think Britt will probably just be having a look at what the cars behind are doing. I think he's under no real pressure, so if he sees Matt Lamb is starting to close the gap or something, he has 2 or 3 laps to react before he really needs to worry about it. Hopefully, he gets his strategy call a little bit better than he did at Paul Ricard, where in the wet race he decided to stay out about 11 million laps too long and just absolutely messed his race up. So yeah, hopefully he makes a better call this time around. But yeah, generally, to be fair, if it was me, I'd wait for that track to take over too fast, and then as soon as that happens, or green, which at least means it's a completely dry track, and then jump onto the slick tires.
Yeah, as you said that, Lamb has just taken the fastest lap title, so he's beaten it by about 2/10 compared to what Albrecht set for his fastest lap. So yeah, definitely the dries are starting to get their pace, perhaps a lot more than the wets are currently right now. So probably expecting Lamb to get even quicker, as well as Maddox and Lewis, who is in P11. I think he's gonna be having a good time in the next couple of minutes, as he's still on the dries, I believe. But yeah, I'm pretty interested to see how the green dry tires will be like.
I think the benefit for Britt is with that massive gap that he built out at the front is, as I said, he doesn't really have to worry about reacting to anybody behind him. Get a replay here of Pepe Bridge in that M&M's Merc. What has happened here? Oh, that's a weird one. Almost looks like he hit a puddle or something.
Straight to the crane,
Yep.
which is convenient.
Nice and easy, quick cleanup there, so not too challenging for the stewards, but that was quite a, I mean, it's a tricky corner in the wet, but it's the first real sort of just complete loss of control we've seen. There's Matt Lamb improves again to a 38.9. So Paul Brett dives into the pits. Matt Lamb obviously staying out on those dry tires. Alexander Paralon dives into the pits as well. Oop, gets a bit of a compromise run out of there. Steve Lewis on these dry tires starting to come into their own, and he just carries so much more speed. Even staying out for another lap here, so Lewis will have to maybe make this overtake on track. I think he does have pace advantage over Kidman at the moment. But yeah, now gonna get I think Britt might get some graining on those tires, but they'll certainly be in a healthier condition than those that Matt Lamb had on his Porsche.
Yeah, so we are about to enter the hour mark, or the 30-minute mark into the race. So from here now on, I'd expect people to just go to the end. At least with the McLaren, I was able to go an hour and 10. So yeah, definitely I can see people going to the end. Some might have to fuel save, given how early they pitted. But yeah, that'll be an interesting strat for fuel, I'd say.
I'm wondering, as Diabol's asked, if the Merc can make it that long. I think most cars can do at least 65 minutes. Maybe some cars not quite, but in general, I think they can. And so I don't think that's too much of a concern if you pit now. I think the only concern that drivers may have is some more rain later in the race. Michael Babs dives into the pit as well. So far, there's been a lot of penalties, but the majority of them were for starting infringements, a couple for collisions, but we haven't really seen any big collision penalties thus far this race. So not too many big accidents, fortunately, which is always good to see. Maddox there, he's currently in P2, so obviously a lot of the drivers ahead of him on track has pitted already, but maybe those dry tires are starting to come to a little bit of a benefit now, and should be able to hopefully gain a few positions in the pit window. Not that there's much of a pit window in a race like this.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's still greasy though, given how fast the dry tires are. But then again, it's still a couple of seconds off. I believe it's about like 5 to 6 seconds off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's, as you said earlier, it's very cold, so there's not a lot of drying out. I honestly, same, I'm also quite surprised that it hasn't at least gone green by this stage, but you can see Matt Lamb gaining a couple of tenths on that fastest lap every lap. I'm sure we will see Paul Britt at some stage maybe fighting back in terms of those fastest laps. He'll be on a little bit heavier fuel than Matt Lamb will be, most likely. So that'll compromise him a little bit, but fresher tires and better track conditions. So yeah, going to be an interesting sort of battle for lap time between those two, but I don't think there's much worry for Britt in terms of track position. Go on board here with Michela in the Flammobile, just behind John Stockton. Lead AM driver at the moment, running in P17 in that Aston Martin with the weird colored wheels. So let's see what Michela is able to do at the exit here. Gets a great exit out of there. Stockton, not the most optimal line on the exit, and he will most likely have to yield to Michela in the Lambo here as they come down the back, not straight. Bob now dives into the pits as well. Chris Stacey currently running in P8, so he was sort of the first out of the front runners to take that pit stop. But he did, of course, get that penalty, so that's kind of put play to any ambitions he had of maybe getting a podium here.
Now, I was about to say Paul Britt might be stuck in some traffic, but looks like he just got himself a bit of free air this time after overtaking. Who is this? Oh, I can't find him in the leaderboards.
And a little bit further up, I think he's currently sort of P6, P5-ish, so not sure who is, but very wide by J-Rad there, manages to keep it facing the right direction. Not exactly where you want to be on the track. Those sausages are pretty violent if you hit them in the wrong sort of angle, and they can bounce the car into Narnia, so lucky there, but he keeps going and he's battling his way back up into the top 20.
That was very close.
Scani doing very well in that Lexus, having done a fair chunk of driving in that Lexus. It's not particularly slow in the wets, but it's a tricky car to drive with a very crappy traction control. He's doing a solid job of that, as we see Josh Bettiger there moves on Matt Lamb fastest lap. He does the 38.1, which is about a tenth or so faster than what Matt Lamb has managed so far.
Sorry to interrupt you, but there was a yellow flag at the exit of the last turn. It's a number 42.
42, if I'm not mistaken. Barrelon with the fastest lap, he goes at 37.7, so that is significantly faster than what anybody else has managed. But car 42 has got them moving again, so hopefully nothing too damaged in that car and he can continue racing without too much hassle.
Got a question for you. A couple of seasons ago, you driven the BMW, right? And
Yes.
now, what made you switch to the Aston?
Oh, that was a weird incident there. Just
Uh,
lost the rear end there. I don't know. I did 2 seasons in the BMW, so I wanted to try something else. I don't normally drive a car for more than 2 seasons, and the Bentley sucks in terms of pace. So if I
yeah.
wanted to compete for wins, the Bentley wasn't a choice. The GTR is not a real car, which offended quite a few people, but don't really care. It's a crap car. And yeah, the Lexus not really competitive either. So in terms of the front engine cars, I'm not a big fan of the Mercs. So the Aston seemed like the logical choice. Nice, and it's easy to drive, but it's not super easy to extract like that ultimate 1 lap pace out of it. But it's such a strong race car that it's pretty plug and play in terms of doing setups and stuff like that, which is good for me because I know nothing about setups.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I chose as well a couple of seasons ago, my second season, as Alexander has just set another fastest lap, so he's flying in that Ferrari. Oh, never mind.
So is Matt Lamb.
Matt Lamb with a 37.3, so he's improved a lot and taken the fastest lap by a couple of tenths as well, so he's flying. He's flying plus.
Yep, track has gone fast now, so we'll see those times sort of dropping down a little bit more. Yeah, I get the feeling that sort of Matt Lamb is just hoping to see some weather changes to make his strategy come into play, but it doesn't appear as though the weather is playing along at the moment. But yeah, getting back to the car discussion, I don't know. There's a lot of people when you go into the forums and especially in the Discord and stuff like that, who say, the Beamer or the Aston is like a cheat code, is so easy to drive, and to a certain extent it is true. It's a very easy car to drive, but it's much easier, or much not easier necessarily, but it's much quicker to get a fast lap out of a car like the Porsche or the Honda if you're capable of handling them. Like in a quali situation, but they're obviously a lot more dodgy to drive, a lot more kill your family kind of vibes. So yeah, I don't know. Just coming from a G29 with a dead spot that was about 1.5 inches wide, I had to choose something safe. I'm not a big fan of the MR cars, and I don't know. I love the way the Aston sounds, especially on the downshift. So it's a good car.
Yeah, I agree with the downshift. It sounds amazing. Yeah, the Aston Martin is it's a very nice car to drive. I've had the recent opportunity to drive it for the Pro Series, and yeah, it's a very good race car. Love how stable it is. Maybe just a bit too understeered for me, or maybe it's just a setup and skill issue. But yeah, it's a very good race car. If you set it up properly, it can just take up all the curbs compared to the Ferrari that was driving for the Sprint Series. So
I mean, if you're comparing curbs to the Ferrari, then pretty much anything is making
Yeah.
it better. So it's a very low bar to clear.
yeah, it is a low bar to clear, which is why I moved from the Ferrari to the McLaren. Now the McLaren is not that much better, but at least when you take a curb, it's not like bouncing for an eternity, especially the rear. But
It
yeah,
has a working suspension, is what you're trying to say, as opposed to the
yeah,
Ferrari.
yes. Oh, Michael
Michael
Babb.
Babb with the fastest lap out of
Let's
nowhere.
go.
Very
Oh,
nice.
there we go. The track evolution has really kicked in. So Michael Babb just had the fastest lap for, I don't know, 2 seconds before it was taken again by Barrelon in the Ferrari. So yeah, I might switch to the Ferrari, but considering the rest of the track for the calendar, I might go with the front engine as well.
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, we mostly try and drive the same car in the endurance series as well. But obviously for Bathurst, the Aston wasn't really a very good option. It's not one of its best tracks. So we did a bit of a BOP tourism and got to the BMW. That was a much stronger car there. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the new Ferrari looks like. Not particularly interested in the new Lambo and Porsche, but certainly the Ferrari looks like a nice new option coming in.
Yep, as Paul Britt sets another fastest lap. Now we're getting into the 35s, 35.7 to be exact. So yeah, we're seeing those times tumbling down very quickly since the track is now fast. And yeah, pretty excited to see the strat still. As Paul Britt just overtaken Lewis, who was one of the 4 people who start on dries. So we're seeing Paul Britt moving up in the field as well. So yeah, previously it was the top 3 who were the drivers who started on dries. But we'll see how the pace is compared in the top 3, like Paul Britt, and who is on new dry tires, compared to Lamb and Maddox, who have been running dry tires since the start of the race. Perhaps they are drained, given how cold and wet the track was before. So yeah, that's a strat to watch out for.
In terms of outright pace, we should definitely be quicker than Lamb and Maddox at the moment. But Lamb's still putting in some competitive lap times. Like we saw earlier, he was stealing a couple of fastest laps there. But I think Britt now running in a bit more clean air. He can absolutely extend it, put in some fastest laps on the lap. Might just set on that. There you go. 35.7 as he crosses the line. It's not a major improvement, but there is that incremental improvement as the track starts covering in again. So right there. Big old moment there, coming to a very tricky section. Somebody who checks up ahead of you there is very, very hard to react without losing the rear of the car. He does very well to keep it safe. He is now going to put a lot of pressure on Gibbo, I think, in terms of the pace, as he's been showing last couple of laps. He's absolutely rapid. Michael Babb, 35 lap, that's a fair old jump faster than what the previous was. That was definitely getting the most out of that Bentley at the moment in these tricky conditions.
Yeah, loving to see that Bentley get the fastest lap. Let's go, Michael Babb. Yeah, you mentioned before, we were talking about it before the stream started, and it's a reason to why you weren't able to join this round. So yeah, can you tell us what happened with the chat?
Oh, I mean, we've got a new wheel a couple of weeks ago, new Moza R5 wheelbase with the base ES rim, and unfortunately my D-pad button, the up button, is constantly pressing. So it's usable. I was able to do the Bathurst race with it, and I also did the Brands Hatch race with it. But yeah, it's not really, you can't go through menus or anything with it, so I sent it up for repair, hopefully receiving a new rim tomorrow or the day after that, so it should be back in the car for next week's race. Next week is, of course, at everybody's favorite English track. Looking forward to see people's opinions on Mapleton.
I have no idea what track you're talking about. I've never driven there.
Mapleton, have you not driven Mapleton?
No, I have not.
Tricky track. I mean, it's not the best English track. I still prefer Alton over Mapleton. But oh, that's very close to the back there by Nichols there, just almost into the back of Barron. But yes, Mapleton is, I don't know, it's better than Brands, but it's weird track. It has a couple of really weird corners, tricky braking zones coming into called bunk hole or bomb hole or something like that. And then the second last corner is like one of my favorite worst corners. Oh, Nichols just absolutely sends it up the inside, continuous braking, makes up 2 positions, and yeah, very particularly good racecraft there. But the viewers will have a look at that. Yeah, Snapperton is definitely a fantastic track, but it's a very, very tricky track to really figure out the most optimal line for them.
Yeah, as you were talking about Snetterton, yeah, this five-way train has now sort of eased up a bit, except for the further front three, who are still like almost bumper to bumper, which is pretty intense. Yeah, Gibbons is not gonna be happy with the contact made um, just a couple of corners ago. So yeah, we'll see how things pan out in terms of penalties, if there are any, since that was quite a dive bomb.
We are at the halfway
Given
mark,
he
still a
was
long way to go.
overtaking 2 cars, I believe.
Yeah, it's
including
quite unfortunate.
Gibbons
Yeah, we took 2 cars, made contact with 1 car, having already received the penalty for contact. So you would hope that he would be a little bit more careful, but apparently not, as he sent another one up the inside there. Well, Dickinson does well to move out of the way. Oh,
Oh
but he gets a little hit
no!
from Barrelon, and Convoy gets caught up in the crossfire there as well. Very unfortunate incident there. Just Barrelon just a little bit more speed and misjudging it, hitting Dickinson, and Dickinson taking Convoy with him for the ride.
Yeah, so Barlon has taken advantage of this. Now he's got some space now, especially compared to before where they were literally 2 by 2. So yeah, that was pretty intense to see. Unfortunately, it ended the way it did with Convoy and the other driver, as Paul Britt has just taken the fastest lap. We just entered the 34s.
Pace is steadily improving. I'm sure we'll see Madeline diving into the pits anytime in the next couple of laps. Yeah, very unfortunate there for Convoy. You know, it's frustrating when you're in these battles. You try your best to keep your nose clean and just sort of get caught out by somebody else who gets involved in an incident. So hopefully he's only lost a couple of positions, hopefully not too much damage. Maybe still able to fight back into that top 10 battle that they were having there. Yeah, always an unfortunate incident. I don't think there was anything malicious in the Barrelon incident. He just carried a little bit too much speed there. But yeah, now it is Barrelon and Nichols. So both of these drivers been involved in some incident. Let's see if they are able to race cleanly when it's the 2 of them together.
Yes, indeed. And this is a battle for class position. So the both of them are Pro-Am. Although Lewis is up there still in 4th place. Yeah, still has to pit.
The net need for Pro-Am at the moment, given, well, depending on if any penalties or anything will be handed out for previous incidents. But yeah, as we see, Maddox was pitted. Let's see how this battle plays out here. I'm going to put my money on Barrelon just based on his speed and the fact that Lafanico took the speed 8 drive through. So that has pretty much ended that battle and his hopes for a class win today.
Yeah, hopefully it's not commentator's curse. As we see a replay here
of what got him that drive through, as we see brakes about 20 meters too late and sends it up the inside. I mean, it's not the worst contact you've seen, but it's just such a clumsy move. And yeah, obviously got hit with a big spoon for today, so we should be serving that in the next couple of laps.
Yep, a big penalty as well. Not a 10-second, not a 15-second, but a drive-through. As we see a replay of this one. Was this the 2 wide? Yes, it was.
Yep. See Barrelon here on the outside. I think Dickinson just got a little bit sort of sideways. Barrelon carried a bit more speed, and yeah, just a small little move on the rear. But unfortunately, You see,
Oh.
oh, Nichols
Oh,
comes
oh
across, runs into
no!
Barlon back into him. That is some pretty piss poor racing there. Oh, that is Matt Lamb. That was Matt Lamb, I think, in the Porsche that got involved in that incident there. Maybe didn't see the car.
Oh,
Long
he's
crossed it.
RTG.
No,
Oh no, hold the red.
yeah, he returned. Matt Lamb returned to pit. So,
Oh,
there we go. He's not going to be happy about that. Yeah, that was some really poor racing there by Barlon and Nichols, to be honest. Really, really disappointing to see that type of racecraft. Basically, we've already received the penalty. Hopefully, Hewitt. I don't know what else they can do, but yeah, apparently it didn't work. So anyway, we move on. Matt Lamb, I think his battle for the podium is technically officially over. I don't think he'll be able to come back from that, sitting in pits. Paul Britt will need to make one of the biggest mistakes possible in racing to lose this race.
yes, indeed. And Bedecker needs to up his pace or just stay out of trouble so that he might have a chance in beating Paul Britt for today. Yeah, that was a scary incident over there with Barlon and the oncoming drivers as well. Shame for Matt Lamb, just wrong place, wrong time. But yeah, he's got a lot of damage, which is why he RPG. So not the best way to get a pit stop there, but oh,
Yeah,
nothing else he could do.
unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, and Alexis Capano saying DT is a bit harsh. It is. It's not his first incident in the race, so it's sort of compounding the penalties a little bit. And yeah, like John mentioned, he already had an incident earlier in the race where he got a penalty, and that is a repeat incident. So yeah, Stewart's pulling out the big stick when the small sticks aren't working.
Yeah, especially this season where the stewards have upgraded to the bigger stick as well. So yeah, drivers just gotta stay out of trouble, race cleanly, and try not to get the steward's attention.
Yeah, escalating penalty system. Thank you, Annie. That was the the word I was looking for. Couldn't quite figure it out. My baboon brain sometimes forgets English. Paul Britt here, he is coming through a big old battle here. Hopefully he doesn't get caught up in any dramas, but he's made it through half of the pack already. Only 2 more cars to clear. Jad Sugden and just overtaken Stockton, so hopefully we'll be clearing off and Stockton does a great job of moving out of the way there. We'll go Brigiola trying to benefit from that, and Stockton compromised himself a little too much there.
Oh, someone's off. Is that Gibbons? Might have gotten sideways, might have gotten a tap from behind.
I think that's Stockton in the 1-2-1 car there. Maybe Gibbo is on the back straight at the moment. Doesn't seem to be too much drama, so probably still facing the right direction at the moment. But yeah, it'll be. Hopefully, we can get a little replay of the incident earlier. I would like to see if Matt Lamb was maybe just a bit blinded, or maybe setting something on his MFD, you know, figuring out pit stop or something to get everything ready, and just not aware of a car parked diagonally across the road.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully we'll see that replay soon. I forgot what I was about to say.
Okay. See, Ultimate Sacrifice. This is blue. Red will be starting after this. But yeah, good to see Bob now here with a good recovery. He was running in P4 earlier in the race, and obviously had that incident, dropped down to about P14 or 15, and he has fought back to P8 and is currently in a very tight battle here with the 2 milkmobiles, the one that makes the milk and the one that has the milk written on it. So yeah, it's going to be a fun little battle for these guys as well. Ooh, Convoy will move around the outside there. That's tricky in the best of conditions. Gets compromised one day. Will he pull out of it? He does the smart thing and pulls out of it, but he does get himself sausage, and that's going to compromise him, and he might lose position to the floors here. He will.
Yep, McCloss doing just being in the right place at the right time. So stay out of trouble, just stay behind close enough. And there we go. He's gotten in position for now, but we'll see what Convoy does. Will he dive to the inside? No, he won't. So, yep, McClaw's getting that +1 position. As we see some drive-throughs as well. So we have Nichols. Oh, that's for the penalty. And some other ones. Were they for track limits or for collisions?
I think it would have been for track limits, as there was no sort of race control notification that came up. But I think Nichols served his drive-through already, so I'm not sure if he got an additional one for track limits, maybe. But yeah, I'm really sure he was diving into pit lane to serve a pit drive-through as well. Might be wrong, but yeah, if so, that's that's going to hurt doubly so, having to do 2 drive-throughs in one race.
Yeah, especially on track like Misano, with its one of the longest pit straights. Not an ideal way to have a race, but oh well, it is what it is. Is Matt still in the race? Oh, there he is.
No.
He's still in the garage as
Yeah, I
he's
think
in
he's
chat
just
right now.
watching it at the moment. Based on that impact, I think the amount of damage. Ooh, Convoy with a big old moment there, manages to keep it out of the wall, fortunately, but not ideal. He's been having a tough time with turn 6 so far today. He's had a couple of very big moments there. But well, to keep it out of the wall at least.
Yeah, I remember the first one. He was sideways through there, going on the sausage curves as Paulbrit sets another fastest lap.
I think Paulbrit is he's turned on the cruise control. He has some nice tunes playing at the moment. He's under no real pressure, so he can just sort of chill and do some nice comfortable laps for the next 35 minutes. But back to the battle here, we have Bob now, who's been putting pressure on Gibbo, but not really attempting much in terms of a move. Claus, after getting past Convoy, has caught up, and he will be looking at piling up the pressure and maybe trying to gain a position. You see Steve Lewis finally diving to the pit lane just under an hour on that first stint. Those tires must be absolutely wrecked. But he was the lead Pro-Am driver. That's going to give Sean Bubb now the Pro-Am lead at the moment.
Yeah, now he seems to be going for the long game as well. Maybe an hour or maybe an hour 10 minutes as well, given how large the fuel tank is in the McLaren. Well, I come from the Ferrari, so it's again a low bar to jump over. But yeah, you can go pretty long with the McLaren, as well as a few other cars. I believe BMW as well, given the epic drive from Demaru Haslam. As Paul Britt, another fast lap. Was that the same lap time?
Very close to the same lap time. But now putting all kinds of pressure on Gibbo here at the moment. And Kidman there receiving a penalty for collision, 15 seconds. But this is a tricky battle for Gibbo and Bubna here. It's very easy for one of them to make a tiny little mistake and both of them to lose out the floor behind. So they'll have to be fairly careful. Yeah, I'm sure they're both mates and they'll be driving nice and clean and keep it respectful. See, Ashley Vettiger pointing out in chat, Appreciado started last, he's currently P14. So very impressive recovery drive there from Appreciado.
Yeah, so Misano I find is a hard track or a harder track to overtake. So do you have any ideas where to overtake for this particular track?
Well, as we were discussing earlier, there's has been DQ for periods and that is Lachlan Nickel. So that is the biggest stick I think we have. You see Nosky there, but I'm not trying to poke one up the inside. Claus gets alongside him. I think Nosky maybe not quite aware that he was there. A tiny little bump on the outside there, but nothing too much in it. And yeah, but now again they're putting pressure on Gibbo. But speaking of overtaking positions, this is probably one of the best options. Turn 7, I think it's called. If you get a good enough run out of that tricky first sector, you can get it done there, or then coming onto this back knob straight, you need to get a good run out of there and then potentially either get it done on the straight or try and scoop them coming into the hairpin. But yeah, as you said, very tricky track to overtake. Not a lot of super heavy braking zones, and the heavy braking zones that you have are kind of compromised with little kinks right before them. So yeah, fairly tricky there, but we see Michael Babs there. He is right on the back of Chris Stacey, so he is in with a very, very strong shout at a podium at the moment here. Of course, his first win in OOR was in the Bentley at Misano at night, so he does love this combo.
Yep, hoping to relive some memories, Michael Babb. Yeah, definitely gonna support Michael Babb as, you know, he's in the Bentley. I'm a rather modern, like I came into ACC fairly late, so it's nice to see a Bentley back at the top again, as it was quite a fun car to drive until one of the updates hit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's the car that we see Husky there doing his run. We got a great run out of turn 6. Ivo goes to pin very early, giving but now that outside. We'll be able to get a little bit of cutback there, not really. Gibo placing the car very well, even though he got a poor exit there out of turn 6. But yeah, back to the Bentley. It is the car that I fell in love with in the game. You see Maddox with a drive-through for track limits as well. That's unfortunate for him. But yeah, it's a fantastic car. And thank you to Triple T for 1,500 baht. Thank you, Stuart, for bringing out the big stick. Thank you very much for the donation. Actually, we'll have some food for the rest of the month.
Yep, Stuart's gonna be happy to see that, as well as OR.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but it does happen, and for the help of the community, I guess, decisions are made, and we move forward. We treat each other with respect. If there's no respect shown, then there's a door shown. So, yeah, Raf pointing out a lot of track limit TT pointing out, coming up. I think there's been about 4 or 5 already in this race. 30 minutes remaining, so yeah, still lots of time for a couple more to come in. We saw quite a few last time as well.
Yeah, I'd be bummed out right now if I was Maddox. He was in a good position. Well, he's still in a good position until that drive-through hit him. So he's going to be moving down the field a good bunch after he serves his drive-through.
Yeah, it's certainly gonna cost him probably about 4 or 5 positions, I would have to guess. See this train here, Convoy, slowly but surely making his way back up to the rear of this train. It's not too far behind the floor with him. What was free will become 4 again, and we can have a proper old battle here towards the end of this race.
Yeah, Convoy just rejoined about to rejoin the battle as he had a moment in that particular turn. Seems to be quite the as he goes by there.
Both of the McLarens, they're taking the off-road line. They're not ideal. They both survive, so all good. It is very easy to get a warning there, so not ideal. But looking for a move up the inside of the racing here. He doesn't really need to push too hard to get through here. Really just sit behind Stacey until the end of the race and get it by default. But I mean, we all know as racing drivers, even if it's in this little pixelated world, we still want to get it done on track. So he'll be doing whatever he can to get past that Mercedes of Stacey ahead.
As Paul Britt improves again by a couple of hundreds. Yeah, so if I were Stacey, I'd probably try to avoid the battle. But then again, Gibbons is still quite a bit far back, so yeah, as long as he doesn't lose too much time, I think it should be a great idea to battle out with Michael Babb, who is again in that car. Love
It's
that
a
livery as well.
there's more than just a Brit.
Apologies. You're right, right. There's a lot of R's there.
Get it right. Get it right. But yeah, I think it's an interesting decision that Stacey has to make. Is it worth really battling it out? I don't think Babs falls that much faster. As we finally get a replay here of the incident between Nichols and Barrelon. So Nichols runs a little bit wide. Barrelon pokes it up the inside, and Nichols just comes across on a little bit of contact there. Very clumsy driving there from both of them. 100% sure if that was intentional or not, and at Lamb probably distracted by something else. Just does not quite react to the Ferrari parking for the track.
Yeah, I think it was just behind convoy there, and he only saw it just a bit too late. I think that's what happened. We'll have to see an onboard.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not sure if he was maybe just distracted by adjusting MFDs or something. Either way, there was a car parked across the road and reacted to I would say the delay. That would be the nicest way I can say it. Anyway, it didn't end his race for the day, unfortunately. But Michael Babs and Chris Stacey, I'm not going to complain about that. That has given them both a shot at the penalty, at the podium. Yeah, well, there's been so many penalties. It's coming out second nature now.
It's ingrained in our minds now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, Nichols is really right. A bit of a wiggle going at about 150 kilometers an hour. That's not quite how drive rules work.
That is strange indeed.
That may have played a role in qualification. Yep. Rather move on, not say too much about that. Get back to this battle. Babs here getting a very good view of the back of that Mercedes. Really able to do too much in terms of putting, forcing Stacey into a mistake so far. Yeah, Sean Bubb now has gotten past Gibbo, and he's clear of him by about a second. He's back up into P5, so quite a fantastic recovery by Bubb now for today's race. Convoy has gotten past Laws as well, so that battle really spiced up. All it needed was for us to just switch away for 2 minutes, and all of a sudden there's a massive mix-up for P5 to P8.
Yeah, just leave it for a bit and let it cook.
It's like watching a pot boil on the stove. It just doesn't boil as fast when you're watching it the whole time. So that's all we needed to do, is put away for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, good to see that. Well, we didn't really see it, but it looks like there weren't any major incidents throughout that battle. So yeah, that's good to see.
Convoy is past Gibbo now, so not sure if Gibbo is maybe struggling a little bit, or other guys are just maybe. I mean, Gibbons was under pressure for close to an hour there, just constantly defending. So maybe just a couple of small mistakes creeping in and allowing some of the other drivers to get through. So he'll be dealing with some pressure from a close now as well. Convoy and Bob now ahead of them is sort of starting to run away a little bit as the car taking an alternate line there through the first sector. I'm not sure who that was for which like exactly who that was, but that is not the racing line for those unaware.
Yeah,
there.
Oh, go ahead.
No, Gibbo, they were pretty. It doesn't seem particularly confident out of turn 6. We've seen a couple of times before as well with Bob now when he was behind him getting a much better run than Gibbons out of there, but Gibbons very strong in the second gear. Allows him to be able to defend from much better on the track. We're going to have to do something special there with the BMW acceleration. It's just a bit too strong for the current to really get something done coming down here.
Yeah, McLaws needs to make a move on for the next 20 minutes if he wants to get the P1 for Pro-Am, since Club now is starting to pull away a bit.
I think Bob now, he had that pace in him the whole time. A little bit stuck behind the wheel. Finally being running away a little bit from this grid. But forgot to mention thank you to Jan Buddy for the $20 million. Thank you all for all your work. We love watching. We love having you here, Jan. Fusion into the OOR community, and it was good to see you in chat. And of course, she is Dylan Gibbons' grandma. So really happy to see him running in E7 and having a good race overall so far today. I think if I asked my grandma to watch my races, her head would just sort of quite understand what I'm requesting her to do, but it's really cool to have Jen here. She's always one of the first in chat, so thank you very much for everything.
Yes, indeed. As still, McLaws trying to find a way past Gibbons. The new mobile, indeed. No racing team. Yeah, just getting close, but it's one thing to get close to another car. It's another thing to get past them. So again, Misano not quite a track for overtaking. So yeah, McLaws struggling a bit to get past Gibbons.
Different line through there. I'm not sure if that's just the. Can somebody just pick McDaddy from that? Please? It's not given that position over. That is so bad.
Oh,
but
no.
Boo indeed. Can everybody just boo in? Yeah, it's quite interesting watching this little battle between the McLaren and the BMW. How different they take certain corners and their strengths and weaknesses as they go. Just this first sector, the McLaren seems a lot stronger. Middle sector, the BMW seems to have the upper hand, and then that final sector, the McLaren looks very strong, but the McLaren is not particularly good when he loses the rear end like that. Givo defending empty air there, I think he was expecting him very close to him, but McLaws there nearly visiting the wall on the inside. Yeah, back to this battle for B3 as well. Not really technically a battle, but I think Babs has just sort of settled down a little bit. He knows he doesn't have to do anything silly to get past. He doesn't have that penalty in the bank, so he can just sort of continue putting the pressure on. Maybe Stacey makes a mistake later on, but it's not overly important for him. Go back on board. We have Robert Maddox after serving his drive who dropped down to P11, right on the back of McDonald. So still on for top 10 here if you can get something done in these final 18 minutes.
Just realized as well, there's a lot of Pro-Am here in the split.
Yeah, there's not a lot of pros, not a lot of AMs, and a buttload of pro-AMs. So yeah, quite a fascinating battle for the whole season with so many of them. But yeah, Maddox back up into the top 10. He has 4 seconds to Michele ahead of him. He has 18 minutes to close that gap. That is a lot of work to do in a very short time. So not quite sure as quick as Maddox is. Not really quite that fast. Maybe you can ask Wacko, Yakko and Dot to help him drive a little bit faster there and catch back up to Michele. But yeah, well, he's already taken a couple of tenths out of him in the first sector there, so I may end up eating my words. Dickinson into the pits. I'm not sure if that is getting it right or no, he's stationary. It's very late for pit stop, so quite 100% sure what's going on there.
Yeah, not sure. Maybe, I don't know, wild guess would be fuel, or did he... No, it wasn't the the one starting on the drives as well. So yeah, I'm pretty curious as to why he's in the pits now.
He was the car that was. I mean, he was involved in the incident with Convoy, but that wouldn't have been enough damage to justify a pit stop. But you see here, Maddox was taken, almost taken out of Michele on that lap. So there's more than enough time for him to catch up if he can continue this sort of rate of catching. But I think Michele will be, as much as he is able to catch, these guys are a little bit too far ahead of that battle. But McLaws in that McLaren still thinking of ways to get past a bloody cow ahead of him. He just hasn't been able to figure it out yet.
Yep, still struggling to overtake Gibbons. It's a narrow track and a wide car as well, might I add. So not a great place to be in for McLaws, but oh, as Gibbons might have gotten a bit wide there. Hopefully not commentator's curse. Will we see McLaws attempt an overtake at the end of the back straight? We'll see. Looks a bit too far though, I'd say.
I don't think the McLaren has the straight line speed to be able to get it done unless Ivo gets a very poor exit. It just looks so fast coming to the final sector as well. Carries so much more speed than Ivo is able to do a couple of these corners. So he closes right up and then there's no real overtaking opportunities in this final and the sector. He's keeping very close to him, so Gibbo needs to hold on to his nerves, not let them get the better of him. It's been very solid so far for the whole race, as we said earlier. It's been pretty much in some kind of a battle for the whole race so far, and really hasn't made many mistakes, or not that we've seen on screen at least. Although we did lose a couple of positions earlier. But yeah, he seems to be misplacing the car where he needs to. I think this is going to be McLaws' best opportunity. He's getting a good run out of turn 6 there. Maybe Givo getting a bit of a compromise run on one of these following laps. This isn't it. But I can't see him really being able to get a move done anywhere else.
Is it just me, or is the leaderboard saying that Paul Britt has lapped everyone before? It said +1 on Vediger, so
well,
sure.
when you're that far ahead, it should show the +1 until he crosses the line. I think he's he's far behind, 30 seconds behind, but it shows that +1 until the other drivers crosses the line. Basically, it gives you the delta.
Oh, all right. Thanks for the correction.
See again, it was so close in that final sector, and Maddox he's already caught up with Michele, so either Michele struggling a little bit for pace or Maddox is all different level at the moment, but he took, 4 seconds out of him in about 3 laps. Drone angle there of the beautiful Misano track. I wouldn't actually, it would be interesting, this track used to run the other way around.
Yeah.
Mistaken. I would like to try that out actually. I think that would be pretty fun. Because obviously it was turned around for, I think it was MotoGP safety reasons or something like that. But I think it might be a fun track the other way around actually.
I've driven the other way around in R Factor 1. There's a mod for this track, and it still goes the counterclockwise way. So
Okay,
yeah,
like we're gonna drive the other way now.
Yeah.
Where's the sound effect? Yeah, I think so. This will be a very good overtaking opportunity here. It should be a fairly sort of heavy braking zone into a very wide hairpin. Will be quite fun, and in a very technical final sector going opposite direction. This will be a fairly basic corner, but then diving into that final sector. I reckon it might be, I'm not sure if it'll be more fun. I mean, you've driven it the other way around, so you'll be able to give a more educated opinion on it, but I reckon it might be more fun the other way around.
I don't know. It's been a blur. It's been like a couple of years. R Factor 1 day, so yeah, I think it was ACC when I came back to see this track again, and I was surprised it was going the current direction as it is now.
Yeah, so I mean, this would be fairly sort of tricky sector coming down that back straight into the very tricky, which is now turned sort of straight. But yeah, definitely a potential overtaking opportunity, I would guess. Fairly heavy braking, and then the hairpin onto the back straight. I don't know. I would really like to ride it. I know they can't for licensing reasons and whatever the case may be, but wish there was an alternative sort of track layouts in ACC like you get in other games. Would be quite fun to drive not only like a reverse of this, but maybe some of the short tracks, like they have Suzuka short tracks and stuff like that, which would be awesome fun if they have to use some of the slower cars. So yeah, I don't know who will say hi in chat, but I know that Rob will. Evening, Rob. So looking at the rest of the battle, there's quite a tight little battle here for P15. He would under a lot of pressure from Brad McDonald. Don't shake your head at me, that's good. Kieran Reid, obviously, after having a penalty in the qualifying, started a little bit further down than he wanted. A lot of pressure on Wood there. Gibbo, he just absolutely eats him. All of the pressure being thrown at him today. Really putting on a good car. Laws must be getting pretty frustrated. That off that cow. Nothing really able for him. Great driving by both of these guys, very respectful for both of them, great patience and very good team defense by Gibbo. He's always early to defend, he's not late to the so yeah, it's good to see someone like the racing.
Yeah, nice dad joke by the way. But yep, no silly dive bombs or anything. Everything's predictable. It's frustrating for McLaws, but hey, at least you're still, still driving on track. You got no penalties. Everyone's enjoying their battles. As behind, oh never mind, it's not quite a battle, but there's a train of cars as well, just behind McLaws. But yeah, great to see this.
Currently, Meadows is 5 seconds behind the train now, so he is very quickly catching up to the back of this train, and that's definitely going to throw a spanner. The Laws has shown so much patience trying to do something, and then he's going to come under a lot of pressure from a driver who appears to be a little bit quicker than these guys are. If Laws is thinking of getting anything done, get it done before Maddox arrives on the speed, because that will not get on.
Yeah, the blinking rain lights just getting into me now. Oh.
That seems to be a fairly large incident there. That is Kidman and J-Rad in Aston Martin. There's not 100% sure what has happened there. Sure, we will get a replay at some stage. Babs, I think he's thick but happy looking at the back of the Mercedes. I don't think he's pushing particularly hard, no pressure from behind, and nothing to really gain up ahead of him. So he's just staying on Stacy, taking it nice and easy. Done well to put the Bentley in sort of podium position where it doesn't often come, as we were discussing earlier. A replay here of Kidman and Rad coming into turn 4 there. Maybe Rad just just carrying way too much speed on the inside there. Kidman, yeah, turns in, and unfortunately there was a car coming up the inside, so I think Rad may get a visit from one of the sticks. Not sure how big it's going to be, but unfortunately it's there for both of them, as we see John Stockton as well receiving his penalty.
Yeah, I think that was just way too optimistic, so I think you'll get a bigger stick for that one. But we'll see what stewards have to decide as, yep, there we go.
Fairly easy decision there. It's not nothing too complicated. It's just deciding how big the penalty is, really. So, yeah, what is that gap? The gap from Maddox to McLaws is 1.3 seconds already. So he's taking a second a lap out of those guys. He's caught up in a little bit of traffic now, so it's going to cost him. He tries to get out of the way. Not the most effective, but he does his best to stay out of the way. Cost Maddox maybe a couple of lengths there. But I think with the amount of defending that Gibbo is doing, he's just not able to sort of put proper hot laps together. Whoa, McLaws. He did the braking there. Just to keep it out of the back of Gibbo there.
Yep, and doing the right thing as well, which is he went to the outside of the track when he didn't quite get the braking right, so that's a good practice to have, as Maddox, now in clean air, has a clear vision towards the top two, not top two, the next two cars, Gibbons and McLaws. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out in the last 5 minutes of the race. But I don't know, maybe it's a bit too late, but we'll see what they do. And yeah.
Let's say 4 more laps. So there's a lot of time to get something done here. Nathan now quickly just caught up to the back of this little battle. He's certainly gonna pile a ton of pressure on Lord Gibbo. Maddox still in with a shout for P7. Yeah, he can get it done this last couple of laps.
Yep, but as we've seen with McLaws, overtaking Gibbons is not an easy task. So yeah, we'll see what Maddox can do as well. He's there already. Okay, I am eating my words.
I think the benefit for Maddox is that he will have over McLaws. The Audi is a better accelerator. So might be more capable of getting an overtake than a McLaren would be. Yeah, I'm not sure if McLaws maybe made a little mistake there coming out of the first sector. But Lord with Maddox, he's already potentially going to get that there. Good exit there. The difference is in top speed, will he be able to get alongside? On the inside, McLaws opens the door for another pass. McLaws realize there's no point battling this too hard. Maybe trying to stick to the back of Maddox there and potentially capitalize on any move that Maddox pulls on Gibbo in the next couple of laps there.
Yep, so Maddox now has a chance to get a few more points now that he's behind Gibbons. So, yep, a couple more laps, and Maddox might have a chance in overtaking Gibbons. Ooh, oh, is that blue flag?
No, that's Leprechado moving out of the way. As we see Britt crossing the line there, 3 minutes remaining, so probably 2 more laps, I would say. Oh, drive-through for Stacey. So he has tried his luck a little bit too much with the track limits, and he certainly hurt himself a lot more there. So it's 21 seconds to Bubnow behind. Bubnow will most likely move up into P5 at least. Maybe Convoy as well will move up a position. I don't think Stacey will be serving that through the pit lane. Close enough to the end of the race to just take the time penalty. Whether he's aware of that or not is, of course, the interesting question.
Yes, indeed. So with Stacey having a drive-through, I suspect that he will just take the 30 seconds, given how long the pit lane really is. So yeah, that's a free position for a couple of guys just right behind him. And yeah, we'll be appreciating the extra few points.
So frustrating. I mean, it's such an easy track to get those warnings. That's why we've seen so many of them. So many of the drive-throughs happen, but you need to. Everybody plays with the same limits, so you need to keep yourself within them. Otherwise, you will cause yourself to lose a very, very strong position. So Stacey will be, if he doesn't serve the drive-through, he'll be getting technically a 40-second penalty, basically. As that 10-second penalty will still be there.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So he will be losing out a fair chunk of time. I think
Yeah.
JC will 100% get P5 here. I don't think the gap is big enough, and Stacy certainly not quick enough at the moment to open that gap more than the allotted time. So as we see, ooh, it's Maddox sort of scares Gibbo into going a little bit wide. Ooh, it's an unnecessary contact there between the two of them. And Gibbo keeps it up the inside. Will Maddox try and get a little bit of an old switcheroo, get a good run out of there? Has gotten a great run. Look how small the Audi is next to the BMW. And that should be job done for Robert Maddox in the Audi Maniacs Audi.
Yes, it is. It is well and done. Oh my goodness, I am so wrong with my words before. So yep, that's Maddox up a position, and will be provisional P6 by the time the race ends. Because of Stacy, who is taking
Oops,
the
he
drive-through.
has served his drive-through. That's an interesting call. I mean, it's not the right call, but it's an interesting call. And you see, here comes Convoy, so he's going to get the move done. Britt is coming around the final corner. This is your last lap. Britt will take the win. Round 3 for Split Blue in the Simrigs Sprint Series here on Octane Online Racing. A fairly drama-free
He's
race
finished
for
the
Paul
race.
Britt. Made the right calls in terms of strategies and has absolutely dominated everybody in terms of pace. Some very fast drivers in the split, and nobody was able to really keep up with Britt. And we will see Joshua Vettiger in the Ferrari. He will be crossing the line in P2, coming into the final sector here. He's had one of those quiet races where he wasn't on stream much, and you know that's how you're having a good race is we don't have to talk about you too much, but he has done everything he needed to do. Comes around the final corner, and he will take P2 for today.
Yep, an amazing drive by Rediger as well. Stayed out of trouble, as well as Paul Britt. And here's Michael Babb in the Bentley. Let's go. E3 in the, well, rather not so popular car anymore. So it's great to see as he flashes his lights, assuming in
Yeah,
happiness.
not sure when is the last time that we had a Bentley on a podium, but it is certainly nice to see, and happy for Babs to finally get a good result, as well as Sean Babb now comes around the final corner. He takes the Pro-Am win, and he will be P4 overall after having an incident early in the race. Great, strong recovery by him. Jamie Conboy in the McLaren Milkmobile crosses in P5. Chris Stacey will take P7, but he does have a 10-second penalty to serve yet, so Maddox might yet take that position from him. Callum Gibbons not too far behind, and whoop, okay, that was a very quick tick
Green
over.
light. Give me
That
Was
was
going to happen
indeed.
that quickly?
Yeah.
As we get a final view of your results here, your winner is Paul Britt in the McLaren, Joshua Vettiger in the Ferrari in P2, and Michael Babb in the Bentley P3. In your Pro-Am class, which is a very populated class in this split, we have Sean Babb now in the Aston Martin, Shane McLaws in the McLaren, and Jake McKellar in the Lamborghini. And in your Am class, John Stockton, Horsell, and James Lawrence will take P3. I don't think we have any silver drivers in this
go
split. I
again.
don't think they are. And that was a pretty fantastic round of racing, I would say. Some good racing overall. Quite a few incidents, unfortunately. But yeah, I mean, pretty solid performance there by Paul Britt.
Yep, loved the racing today. Some not so great racing, but overall, we've seen a lot of battles. We've seen um, quite
Green
a
light. Go, go,
interesting
go.
race, especially with the strategy and the rain coming in. So yeah, it's been a great round, and yeah, let's wrap things up.
Yeah, so of course, next up we do have Split Red, which will be starting fairly soon. And if I'm not mistaken, we will be being joined by Justin Tate, and Mr. Neil Mullock Alexander himself will be taking over, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, Split Red will certainly be an interesting race as well. Some very fast drivers, a couple of drivers with some incidents last weeks that they'll be hoping to make up for and get a better result this time around. But while we're waiting, and before you head off, I think it's customary that we decide on a driver of the day for Split Blue. So what are your thoughts on that, Mr. Velasquez?
I will go with Michael Babb since, yeah, not a car that I was expecting to be in the top three, but he delivered and top three. So great drive by Michael Babb.
Yeah, no, certainly a fantastic performance by him. Did well in qualies, made the right calls in terms of strategy, and yeah, I mean, I can't choose Michael Babs, even though he would have been my choice, but I would have to. I would say Vettiger, even though we barely featured him, he showed great pace. I mean, obviously Paul Britt was the best driver on the day. He was just so much faster than everybody else. But yeah, Vettiger putting in a good performance after struggling a little bit last week, so a good comeback for him. Um, Plus Paul Britt keeps beating me in races, so I don't want to give him too much credit when I'm watching him. But no, he was certainly mighty on track today. But yeah, I think Michael Babs putting that Bentley where it doesn't often end. Yeah, great performance from him. And we are just waiting for things to tick over to split red. For those of you unaware, as qualifying is drawing to an end here. So we currently have Chris Tsang in pole again. He's been very strong so far this season. But Michael, do you need to head off or?
Yes, I do. So I'll leave the commentator's booth to you. So yeah, have a great split red race. You're double stinting a for this night, which is pretty awesome to see. So yeah, hope to see you again soon. Just subbing in for Josh tonight, so it'll be a while since I visit this again. But yeah, it's been a great time with you guys, with JP and Mullet. So yeah, thanks for bringing me in again, and hope to see you soon.
A pleasure as always, and we'll see you next time around. And while we wait for Mr. Tate to join us in a couple of minutes, qualifying for split red, sorry, is drawing to an end here. Currently, Chris Sang on pole. Lucas Burrs not too far behind him, although Sang just improved and gone about 4 tenths clear Burrs. In the pits already, so he won't be improving. Shady Samuel, a couple other drivers still on laps. So let's see if anything in the top half of the field can change. Brad Cook, I think he may have invalidated there, but he might still improve. If he is valid, he does improve, goes P3, 8 tenths behind Sang there. And Shady Samuel is car number 5. Where is he on track? He is on the back straight, so I think he is the last driver in with a shout of upsetting that top 3. Whether he is currently improving or not is the question. So we'll see as he comes into the second sector here. He, of course, has missed the first 2 rounds of the season due to some work commitments. So first time back on track for season 12. Always a very, very fast driver. So hopefully he can put in a good performance there.
G'day, Paige.
Good day, Malak. How are we, sir?
Yeah, not too bad. My voice is gone.
Tell your voice that.
Yeah, I forgot to install it this week. G'day, chat. Justin's disappeared off the face of the earth.
Okay, that's good news. I will, after qualifying, just quickly head off for a couple of minutes just to explain to the wife why I'm away for a little bit longer. As we see, Shady Samuel crosses the line, does improve into P3 there, and I will join you shortly for the start of the race.
No worries, mate. G'day, chat. Good to see the Bentley on the podium. Once again, can't remember a time that I've seen it lately. Very eventful race. How are we, everybody? Got a live poll up for Driver of the Day. Britt, Bab and Vettiger. Justin Tate, where are you, mate? Save me. Sexy voicemail. The girlfriend enjoys it because I don't talk as much. Dry tyre start may not have been the best strat. It didn't appear so.
Howdy, howdy.
G'day, champion.
How are you? Oof.
Hope your voice is all right.
I'm sorry. Yes, I was rapidly doing something for the Game Expo, which is something that you'll be coming along to, and a bunch of the guys in OR are coming along to, which is awesome.
Legendary.
But, yeah. We're looking really good. We've got a bunch of sim rigs ready to go. It's going to be a lot of driving and zooming and crashing into each other, and
You do?
hopefully no punch-ons. yeah. I've got a bunch. So
Ooh.
yeah, I've got some. It's going to be exciting.
We shall chat after stream.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be hard to commentate with an erection.
I never have a problem
Oh
with that.
shit,
but,
Peter's back.
good evening, Dustin.
Evening, Mr. JP.
Shawnee Bub now is going to jump in for me, so you don't have to listen to my terrible voice.
No, that's all right.
But
Thank
I'll
you,
chat
appreciate
after
that.
stream. Thanks,
Very
Peach, as
good.
well. If you want to stick around, feel free.
That's okay. If Bob now is gonna jump in, I shall go and spend some time with the family. And,
Sweet.
Yep. But good luck with your call and enjoy the race.
Thank you very much, JP. Alrighty. So we are
30 seconds.
30 seconds away from start of race. Misano, lovely little track, really good
It
fun.
is.
20
It's a
seconds.
great track actually. It's such a driver's track. There's so many spots to like gain extra time if you're brave, and there's lots of places to make mistakes as
10
well.
seconds.
I find with this track though, it's hard to concentrate broadcasting when it's night time. It's pretty taxing, but to race, it's very appealing, and there's a couple of cars that have returned to pits and didn't press ready up, so
Oh no.
bold strat. And welcoming into the booth, Sean Bub now. G'day, sir.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are we?
I'm going to turn you up about 18,000 decibels.
I'm sorry. It might be
There we
quiet.
go. All right, I'm going to leave you two gentlemen. Sean, pro now, welcome.
Oh, thank you, but I'm not going to claim the title just yet.
Have a good call, guys.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So, did you just come out of a race? Is that what's happened here?
Yeah, mate. Just finished up in
Awesome.
AP Blue and
Very
drove
good.
my little Aston behind off and landed a P4, which is quite impressive, I think.
Fantastic. Well done, mate. And that's why he's teasing you about going to pro, right?
Yeah, look, I think
Yeah.
I'm going to cop that for some time, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can't be successful once. I did the same thing at this, floated around the 10th, the 15th place, and then all of a sudden there was a race where I got like top 5, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's time to put him in pro." It's like that. Yeah, it's but that's good fun. It's this is gonna be good. What do you think of the track?
Well, when I was out on there, it was very unique, considering we had to deal with the fact that we had rain in quali, and then we had a rain probably first 20 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, and then the track was just super greasy, and it was overinflated tyres, and hope we got to the end. But once it gripped up and all that after the rain, wasn't too bad, but yeah, definitely a bit of hard yakka.
Oh, very good. Alrighty, we are not far away from the start of the race. Looks like the people that we expect to be out the front are out the front. Nothing too crazy. Mr. Briss and Sang were having a mighty battle last week at Brown's Hatch. And,
Yeah, Mr. Sang and Burst and Samuel are both very, very speedy boys. Have had the pleasure of racing in Spurs before, and yeah, very, very quick man.
Alrighty, as they're forming up, I wonder how many extra positions these people on the outside was. That looked like 2 cars missed the pressing get ready button. Got to make sure you push those buttons, boys and girls. Really important.
I'll let you take the start of this while I catch a little bit more of my breath.
No worries, yeah. Just have a breather, have some water, hydrate as we come around the last corner. nice and steady so far. It looks very uniform at the front 10 positions or so. This is looking pretty good. A little bit racy in the middle there. Nice and close nose to tail. As we've gone green, and pretty even line with 3 astern towards the middle there. Run through nice and cleanly so far. Right over the ripples. There's someone up the inside. And, oh, big oversteer action there in the Aston. Bit catching that. Samuel giving it strong. And, yeah, seems pretty smooth. Still a little bit of side-by-side through the middle.
Good to see some really nice clean driving through that first sector. Can be a bit sketchy on those cold tyres, but if they haven't been warmed up properly. But nice to see that they kept that nice door-to-door racing with nothing too much going on. As Skinner seems to be defending off Omar at the moment. Our amateur leading his little sector there, which is quite nice.
Yeah, he's a long way up. A long way up from his nearest rival. Oh, as we've got a very nose-to-tail battle happening here. Crook all over the back of Samuel, trying to stick his nose out. This straight is not being much of a straight, can make it a little bit hard to get alongside someone, but if you do, you tend to launch yourself alongside them quickly. Wow, as everyone gets hard on the brakes and running wide as well on those cold tyres again. Being nighttime, it's going to take that little bit longer to get them up to temperature. Although it is relative. No, it's not warm. It's not warm at all. What was I going to say?
15 degrees is definitely not warm, unfortunately.
I was going to say, oh, it might be a bit warm, but I was reading the the time, not the degrees.
907. Yeah, that's pretty warm if the track is 907 degrees. But no, 15 will have to do, I'm afraid. It was, as we see, Joe Coleman getting the fastest lap there as a 4:16, which that'll relatively change very, very soon as they cross the line once again.
Very good. Is this a 2-stop strategy race or more? What do you think?
We did a solo strat, a single strat, I should say, in our little split, but that would depend on the weather. If these get a batch of rain, who knows? But yeah, one stop will get you across the line. You won't necessarily need tyres, but they will be screaming if you don't. But you'll definitely need fuel. Oh no, we see a car in the yellow a bit further back. Hopefully nothing too bad happened there. But that's a very sad looking Beamer.
Yeah, I'd say he's collected something there. That is a really easy spot to come off. The amount of times I went over curbs in practice for the 8-hour race here, I lost it a number of times over those curves. It's very hairy spot when you, especially on the cold tyres.
Yeah, that fine line between pleasure and pain, clearly, as we see Burst here, just sitting about half a second behind Sang. He'll be trying to get that Nissan to go a little bit more speedy to try and keep up with him. But looking very nice at the moment. Those tyres will be coming well and truly up to temp.
Favourite part of the track? Let's go. Where is it for you?
Jesus. Probably, if you can do the double right-hander and then left onto that sort of middle straight in sector 1 and 2, if you absolutely nail that, it feels amazing. So that would be my favourite bit once you get it right. But if you get that whole sector wrong, then it's sad times, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a very, very line-dependent section, this bit through here, isn't it? You miss an apex by a little bit, and then you just wide at the next one, and wide at the next one, and wide at the, and you're fighting it. And you just want to go slower and slower and slower. Here we go. Here's a replay. Oh no!
Oh no! Big sads.
Yeah, I kind of saved it. Not too bad. Oh dear, but cars went everywhere.
Nice enough for the rest of the fields to dodge around that. That could have been a lot worse than what it was, but unfortunately, nose to tail boops do happen.
Yeah. Again, it's some people have got their car up and running and braking right on the limit, maybe a little bit past the limit there, and got saved by running in the back of someone. But these things happen. Didn't look very deliberate, that's for sure.
No, I think it's just a bit of that aero washing. Not sure whether your braking marker is behind someone. It does cause a little bit of pain, as we see a little nice battle happening here. There was a little bit of a nose peak, but very hard to get side by side through there if you get a good exit onto the back straight there. But bide your time, stay in the mirrors. You can force someone into a bit of a error, and then you'll get your job done. Because it is quite a tricky track to actually get an overtake done here. as we see Sang get a lovely 33.3 as a fastest lap.
Yep, and that's probably going to be where he's going to stick the pace at. I think if he's staying mid 33s to low 33s, he's just going to comfortably sit out there as he stretched the lead out to 9/10 of a second now, and we have a look at a battle a little bit further back now. It's good to see that we don't just have a BMW massive row in the front, which we did at last weekend. There was just BMW.
Well, the Beamer was incredibly strong, so yeah, it is what it is. But as we see Matthews here doing a very nice job in his Aston, trying to get onto the back there of Wellington, sitting half a second behind. If he bides his time, he should be able to set up a nice move here. The Aston is, I drove it, it is quite strong and very nice. Not too good through here, don't like this section, but it still does a decent job once you get the legs moving on it.
Yeah, it's a very comfortable car to drive. I often recommend people that are starting out, give the Aston a go. It's predictable, if that makes sense. It's a lot easier than quite a few of the cars out there that drive.
Yeah, 100%. It's very much plug and play, I guess you could say. You can load pretty much aggressive setup and be pretty much on the ball with it. So in that case, learning car, very nice. But I'm enjoying it. Oh, that's a bit wide there, Stu. Hopefully you didn't get a speed token for that one, but that looked like it may at the tally, unfortunately. But we're starting to see a little bit of a gap form up the field. But I guess the pro speeds, or who didn't get involved with that nose to tail, form that gap on the track there. But quite nice battles going on.
Yep, so we've actually got someone off halfway up the back straight. That's a really odd spot to be. Probably I'm guessing a hardware issue. If you just parked off on the left-hand side of the straight, he's moving again. Oh, we've had a serial car turner offerer in this.
Oh,
I can't remember who it is, but someone's done it multiple times in the two races that we've had.
that might need to be a rebind of a button, not near your fingers.
Yes. I wonder if they've done it all over again. It may very well may be. Right, as we're now checking out Luca, who's all over the back of the Aston.
He's a very speedy boy as well. Shouldn't have too much trouble getting past Atkins here. Looks like he might have a nice toe down this back. Let's just see the defensive line held by it, or they're going to be a little bit smart. He's entitled to it.
Yep.
But, oh, that's a bit sketchy. Yeah, now backs out. Probably better off setting up for a different turn.
Yeah. Oh, he's having another little nose poke, but yeah, turn one. This is one of the spots you can do it if you get a good exit. You've got to be right up the clacker of the car in front through this section, so he's probably a bit too far back for turn one. Looks now, unless a mistake's made. No, it's definitely not going to be here. I don't mind going into the left-hand hairpin after the little can't remember what the name of the corner is.
Got a bit of a oopsie there. This is going to put him right close. Tries to go for a bit of a switchback. Realizes no room. Goes for a third attempt at a switchback. He might have the nose on the side here enough, but yep, has a bit of a dive. They've both been safe here. That's nice. Respect. Good awareness of each other. Gets the job done nice and clean, and they can all carry on happy days. Nice overtake.
Oh, gee, that curb really bouncing that Aston around though. That was not happy across there.
And I can confirm going out wide there over those sausages can send you little door bang, but play on boys. Carry on.
Done.
Yeah, those curves do send you off to space, unfortunately, if you do hit them wrong.
Yep. Like I said, that's the one spot on the track that I constantly had grief with, and the end of this straight here. If you get it wrong at the end of the straight, you're just shooting off into the. It's got runoff, but you cook your tyres, you slide.
Not enough runoff.
Yeah, you might get a penalty. Yeah, it's pretty hairy.
Yeah, the old this one has. Oh no! Whoa, that was close. I was just about to talk about that little hairpin, because if you do have a bit of an oops there, the game has a lovely tendency, if you cut too much of that inside of the hairpin, it gives you that lovely DQ.
Wow.
For whatever reason it does, but it is there. It is a thing.
Alright, so note to self, don't don't cut the corner if you've had a spin. Try and get back out on the track the other direction.
Yeah, basically where you roughly go off, try join as close to that, and then you're pretty much safe. And we might see a bit of a switchback happen here, like Luca did before. Is he long enough? He's going to probably stick the nose for a bit of a dive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, bit of a door bang. But
A little
play
bit of
on.
turn in.
Well, he's going to hit that sausage again. Oh no, he's backed out. Yep, safe. Nicely done. That could have been a lot worse.
We see a 5-second penalty handed out for that little boop on lap 3 that we saw.
Oh, there's a slow car there.
Yeah, that is a very slow car. Something going terribly wrong. Probably recovering from a spin, I'd say.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's too much. Oh, he's gone wide there on the brakes, but that's alright. Maybe we go into shoot. No, we're jumping all over, and we got someone off in
That's
oblivion,
good.
and he is part of ground. That is
Yep.
an interesting Ferrari design.
Yep.
Not sure about that one, but I hope the aero package is good considering how much it's in the ground. Yeah, that's definitely something. Oh no, and we're back to somewhere else. As we're on Nissan. There we go. Now we're jumped to burst. One Nissan to another Nissan.
Very good. All right, Bursus does this every week. He just hangs on to saying and just manages to keep up somehow. Like at times last week, he looked like he was dropping miles behind, and then all of a sudden he was dealing it back in again. So yeah, he's just kept that gap. Now, is that 5/10? Wow.
He is gaining. I think we saw it just under 2 seconds a few laps ago, but yeah, no, he's definitely may have got that Nissan's tyres in the window and now found his pace. Maybe that burned a bit of fuel off, got that grippy patch going on. Yeah, it's setting up this move up and now. Go to the replay here. Ooh, is that the Ferrari's choice of new aero package? It just
there it goes.
decides to go underground. Enjoy that.
Very good. All right. Very bold strategy there. So I don't think I've seen that yet. I've seen cars fly over the thing, but I haven't seen them go under the ground. That's just an internet or power off by the looks of it.
Either that or yeah, it's had a bit of a DC game crash, whatever it's done. But wouldn't want to drive that car after it decided to become a digger and a bulldozer, but that's fine.
And of course, we've got the replay here of that. Oh dear. No, I thought this. Oh, is this where we said the spin round? Oh, and it's just that lazy spin round too. That really awkward. Oh no.
Oh no.
That was poor
removed,
actually.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's unfortunate, but that was just not checking the minimap. That was just going. Yeah.
Yeah, the reverse gear sometimes is better than the first gear in those situations, but you know, heat of the moment, sometimes we do little bits of fixes, and it unfortunately results in some sad moments. But play on, boys, carry on. Long way to go.
Yeah, all you can do. I've done the exact same thing once before, and I'm just like, please don't have damaged the other guy's car. I was like, please don't damage the other guy's car. I feel so bad about doing something that's all my own fault, really. But yeah, it's part of racing. It happens.
It certainly does.
All right, we're pretty spread out across the field here. Everyone's doing their laps, doing their thing. Got a couple of little close battles here.
Yeah, this is sort of the groove phase. 15 minutes into the race, everyone's kind of settled down a little bit. Your tyres have come into spec. Moving on, you've sort of found your pace, or you're finding your pace. You're sizing up your opponents. Now you start to think, am I faster? Are they holding me up? When's the best time to come in for tyres, etc., etc.? Or, you know, do I jump out of the queue, go for an undercut? Do I go long, go for an overcut? Sort of a bit hard as we see a penalty come through from Omar, 15 seconds causing a collision. That's a little bit sad.
And we're also watching Mr. Tafiq here all over, trying to regain from that little spin that he had. Again, just that slightest of touch, sending him on the slowest of pirouettes. But again, I feel they're the worst ones. I love the ones where you just get spun right around, you do a 360, you keep going, but this one's like, it just slowly, he's full lock trying to catch it, and it's just, it keeps going, and it keeps going, and you're like, please stop sliding, please stop sliding. Feels like forever.
Yeah, as I said, almost like it slows down. But
Yeah.
as we see, Luca
Nice
go
little
past
dive.
another guy there. Moving on, trying to make his way up the field as he goes past Skinner.
Who's in the top 10 as an amateur, doing really well. Great job so far by him. Have you seen the liveries in this thing? Have you spotted any liveries that are sort of standing out to you as quite cool? Have you seen this group or split bit? It's not split lead, split red. Is there anything that's sort of jumping out to you where you go, wow, check out that?
I've had a look at a few. I don't mind actually, but I don't mind this livery here at the moment. Well, as we jump away from it, well, guess not. I don't like that livery there. That one there.
He's trying to show you. Neil's saying, check out this one.
Yeah, the Doge livery. That's got meme written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's the meme lord one for sure. But yeah, a little bit further back than we've seen Chris. It's been usually a little bit further up, quite a bit further up. But he's picking his way through the field. He's up to 18th now. He might have been the person that didn't press the button at the start. I've got a feeling that might be him. If he's this far back.
Did he possibly have a bad quali at all? Or I'm not sure. I didn't hear at the time.
There was definitely one or two cars that didn't press the button at the start, and there was some holes in the grid. So yeah, I don't think, and yeah, he might have maybe not done quali, but I think he might have been the one that didn't start, because it was a fair way up the field too, where the hole was. It looked like around 7th or 8th.
Righto. As we see Burst still well and truly living in Sang's rearview mirror, making sure he knows that Nissan is incredibly wide and taking up all of it. He's now down to what would be, as we cross the timing line in a second, probably 2
Very
tenths
close.
maybe?
Yeah. And he's
There
in
you
the
go,
slipstream
2.5
too.
tenths.
Yep, he started the race in the pits. Yep, there it was. So, good job to him to come through the field. He must have loaded the wrong setup or something. He decided, no, I've got to get it right. Being a night race, yeah. I think if you have your daytime 30-degree setup on, it would just be an absolute nightmare. So,
Yeah, tyres would not be thanking you in the slightest.
that's my guess. So, yeah, we'll watch out for Keeley to come flying through the field. Again, doing some work, now up into 18th. As this
Hopefully
battle.
he's got yeah, this battle's getting quite spicy. There was a bit of a moment there for Sang, I think, on exit. I think he may have bounced on that second sausage. But Burst not quite close enough to capitalise on that at this point.
I swear, every time we watch those guys too, they look like they're doing hot laps. Like they're sliding the cars, they're moving around, they're going over curbs, they're running wide. We had multiple mistakes from the drivers, but they were just so far ahead and they kept pushing each other last week. We had in the red split, we had rain into no rain, back into rain again. And
I was dreading that last race. I was like, please don't rain again. I just got good dry tyres, please. And then it was like, yeah, we're good.
Yeah, it was quite crazy, and one of them stayed on their wets for a really long period into the dry, and they were very, very, very slow. Like there was guys in the around the 20th position doing like 3 seconds a lap faster than them, but they'd drawn such a lead in the dry that they were just waiting for each other to pit first. It was quite unbelievable that they went probably 8 laps to 6 laps past the window where everyone had swapped to dries.
Yeah, right. That's pretty bold. I go, you do the move first. No, you do the move first. No, wait. Yeah. Sometimes that is what happens on track, as we see Tavik here very quick, even though he had a bit of a run wide there through the first hairpin. He was trying to size him up, but back on the rear of that car right now, looking very pacey. Hopefully he can be a little bit more patient and just size up his opportunity, wait for Atkins to possibly make a mistake here and capitalise. He's looking quite, well, not quite close enough there. Exit was good for both drivers there. As we reset for the next lap, let's see what happens as they come into the first chicane. Bit wide there. Oh, he's closed the gap up nicely. Not doing too bad. I think that Aston is just a little bit too planted through there for. As I say that, we have a bit of a wobble.
Yeah. You're already getting that commentator curse under your belt as you're doing well.
Yeah, done that before.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh,
an
dude, interesting
line.
line.
No, jinx.
Yeah. That was very interesting. Like, it was that interesting that both of us had to state it at the same time. It was,
I really thought he was going to go for a bit of sausage action on that one, but managed to pull the Honda's nose around enough, but obviously compromised the speed of the Honda there coming into that hairpin. Definitely making it very noticeable that he's all over the place. Ooh, that's a little bit wide, but that's okay. Play on. Doing well, boys. Looking great.
yeah. Man, the Aston's getting the power down nicely off the corners, though. That's, was all over it on the way into that corner, and then I thought I was going to exit right behind him, but he just pulled two or three cars in the exit there. That's alright. They're probably running quite different setups, I'd say. Although, Mr.
I
Tafik
hope they're different. One's a Honda, one's an Aston.
Yeah.
So if they're running the same, I'd be a little bit questioning about what's going on there.
Yeah. I was going to say, Mr. Tafik also has a little bit of damage from when he accidentally booped someone rejoining from his spin. Oh,
Well, that looks like that was a moment as we switch away to Luca here.
Got to drive.
Would that be?
through from
That'd
Luca.
have to be a track limit for sure.
Yep, that would be
That's sad.
all of his points.
I'm
I
not
have
sure
seen him off track a few times. Oh, like that. That was pretty, a lot of curve. That's a lot of curve. I guess he's reset his track limits now, so he's like, stuff it, I'm going to use more.
Unfortunately, if you go off again, it still sends you out with you've already spent another token, so
Yep.
it still keeps count. But just over an hour and 8 minutes to go. Hopefully, I'm not sure what the transversal time here is for doing your DT, but hopefully it doesn't hurt him too much. As
Yeah.
Verse is still only half a second behind Sang.
That's right. If I remember right, it's got a really long pit exit.
Yes,
so it
it
feels
does.
very long. Yeah, it's
It
actually
feels like
quite
you're
long, isn't it?
sitting at 50k for an eternity. Not like Spa eternity, but
Hmm.
it's, quite painful. And you're just watching people come down that front straight and you're going, please let me out, please let me out, please.
Yeah, and it's also possibly because it dumps you out. Yeah, so you don't get the speed up until after turn one, don't you? Like, it's all the way that extra bit of the straight there.
Yeah, you'll see it
All
now.
right, till
There's
there,
the,
yeah.
there, which is
That's
painful.
an extra 200, 300 meters on the pit lane. Yeah, it's quite long. But yeah, it's definitely not Spa long.
No, and I've done the big dumb at Spa where I forgot to put that extra couple litres in the car and ran out on the second last lap and had to trundle through the pits and
And the race was over.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, my race was over because now a lap and a half down, but that's beside the point. Yeah, first looking at the back of his beam, he probably knows every decal or paint scheme and whereabouts it goes. He can draw it in paper if he closes his eyes. Ooh, bit of a moment to slide in there, but I probably don't have that much car control where he thinks that's normal and I think it's dangerous, so it's okay. Tries to hunt down Sang as we head onto the straight. I guess my strat here would be try and size up possibly to see if we get a little bit closer coming in. Oh, maybe you heard me. But
Yeah.
maybe potentially nosedive here, but they're both doing incredible lines through there. I think that might be an opportunity, but the door is definitely closing in on.
This battle has been the story of the whole this whole season already. These two, oh, look at that.
Well, that
They're
is a
both
very
just
wide
pushing
line.
the limits everywhere. Like I said, it looks like they're trying to do hot laps all the time, these two. You spent half a lap on board there with Burrs, and there was an off track, and there was over a curb, and there was big opposite lock correction multiple times. It's both of them are just pushing the absolute limits of these cars. So
And the funny thing is, we probably think they've got, cut tracks or whatever just by looking at them, and they're probably all valid and still gaining speed in areas that I myself cannot gain speed like they can. But yeah, they're definitely in a bit of a class of their own here.
I just don't know how their tires last the whole run. Like
They probably don't. They're just
smashing
that good. They know how to drive when the tires are back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably very true. Both these boys are alien category drivers, as we like to say at OR. Very, very speedy. And as JP said last week, I'd love to see what Burrs could do if he wasn't in a Nissan. So
It's a scary thought.
yeah,
It is a very terrifying and scary thought. He'd probably be, depending on the car and the track, if he went like straight BOP and Yeah, who knows? Who actually knows?
Right, it's a little bit cooling off, apart from the fact that this is as cool as it gets for them when they're about half a second apart and they are just thrashing the cars to the absolute limits of the track. So you're believing that we're going to see just all one-stop strategies? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's some kind of weather change, like drastic towards the end, yeah, they'll probably just come in somewhere between 45 minutes of the race complete to an hour just to top up the tanks, because I'm pretty sure the only car that can probably get the full duration is possibly the Bentley. I'm not sure the size of the tank on the Nissan actually, but other cars just won't get that full hour and a half on the tank. But whether you want to make your tyres last that long, power to you, but I definitely will be coming in with fresh rubber regardless.
Yeah, again, just using all of the track and some. You know, it's so different to Brown's Hatch, where second you go off the track, you're on the grass. Here, there's all that curbing, and then also the AstroTurf, and then also the painted bit. You know, there's so much extra here to use, so they are using it.
Yeah, the only downside about all that extra stuff is that you are always extra close to not getting the, of getting the speed tokens or off tracks, because you keep pushing the boundaries. As Samuel seems to be in a bit of no man's land at the moment, 5 seconds behind Burst and 3 seconds ahead of Cook, but he's probably just contemplating his strategy and seeing if he can maintain the gap. And then, you know, what do? Do you come in early, try and gain a little bit more time with the car ahead, see if you can catch up to Burst in that? Interesting position, because yeah, not having someone sort of around you can also get a bit mundane, and then you can sort of lose your line if you don't keep your focus, as we see Barker here defending well.
Yeah, it's, I believe this is Barker all over the back of Skinner here, and
Oh, sorry, yes, correct. No mistake on that one.
That's alright. Yeah, these boys, again, Skinner doing a fantastic job, just showing that he's really took the class in the amateurs at the moment. He's having a little bit of a look here. Are we going to get the dive? Not quite. Space was left, but safely played. There we go. We continue on.
Yeah, a bit of a safe move there. You probably could have had the nose done with the space, but chose not. Wanted to keep it a bit more clean, make it a bit more official. Try to avoid penalties. Well, that's a slightly wide line there as we come onto this little back straight. Oh, definitely Barker got the better exit there, I believe.
Yeah,
as we see him dive in on the inside. Yeah, this should be a nice, easy overtake coming into the braking zone.
And this corner sort of really just sorts you out, and sort of just get run wide if you hang out there on the outside. There's not really much you can do. Easy done. Nice driving.
Nice overtake. Got the nice exit. Followed enough in the slipstream to come out side by side. Nicely into the braking zone, inside the line. Job done. Thanks for coming.
Gets a really nice exit out of here too. So probably looking to just power down and see how far you can get before this pit stop, which we'll probably start to see pit stops happening in the next 15 minutes or so. Just for those that are sometimes... Are you a person that likes to pit a little bit earlier if you've got a bit of damage? Did you do that?
Oh, it depends on the amount of damage. I had an incident last race where I got a little bit of damage. As the Keeley here, looking very speedy on the back of Williamson again. Oh, we see Stewie go a bit wide at the back there. They're doing well to hang on to these boys. Keep with it. You never know what might happen. But in terms of coming in early or pits on that, I think it just depends on how the car drives with damage or where your damage actually is. As I said, I got a little bit of rear damage in the race. I think it was only 4 or 5 seconds or something like that. I turned the damage off and just went long. The car didn't really feel that bad, but I guess, yeah, it depends on where it is, how it is, all that kind of scenario. But if I get hit decently enough and I'm sort of not within half a second of where I want to be in a lap, then I'll just come in and repair it.
Yeah, that was very, very close.
Does he get the nice exit here on that 10 6? Yeah, he definitely got the better drive. Does he have it over the Audi? Gets the nose out side by side. Better braking zone. Has better brakes than the Audi at this point. Nice tight line. Looks like he's already alongside enough that he has the job done. As he's coming into the second hairpin. Yeah, he's definitely ahead now. Very nicely done.
All right. Another one there for Chris as he moves up into P13. All the way from the back of the field. Great
Doing
job so
very
far.
well.
Yeah, I reckon he's going to probably finish in the top 10 by the end. He's showing a fair bit of pace.
Head down now. You got a gap to the next one. Try to, what's he got, 5 seconds or something, I think it is. So, yeah, head down, see what you can do. Close out. Ooh, as we see
Oh.
Luca get a little bit slidey over those sausages again. Be interesting to know how many speed tokens have spent at this point into the race. Hopefully not too many. But as we've seen, they've both been incredibly pushing the limits of the track as... Oh, God, I thought he was going to go wide there. But, yeah, who knows what they're going to do. They're going to push regardless, I think.
Yeah, man, it's just always hot laps with these boys. They're just hot lapping endurance races. They're just, you can see them just everywhere, all the track, all the time, sliding the car, moving around. Look at that, aggressive. That's an aggressive nose pull just to like flash across his mirrors. I swear, like that. It didn't seem like a very natural line the way he just turned in all of a sudden.
No,
that little
is
thing.
definitely a I'm still here moment for sure.
Look at that, all the way around.
You definitely know they're pushing one on exit. You see that little puff of dirt every time.
Yep, and then, even then, just on board Luca here, just Lucas, sorry, that the car just wiggled on him, like he got to full power a little bit too early, and it just squiggled just before getting full traction. So that was quite cool. So I've got the bright purple green livery here. The McLaren. Atkins.
He's doing quite well. I think he's only in P12, which is quite nice. Not too far out of the top 10 here.
Yep, second in class.
Yeah, oh yeah, he is too. Yeah, not
That's
too far behind. Doing a very good job, keeping some nice lines as we see Chris in the background there. It's starting to loom. I think it was, I think I said 5 seconds before. Now it's under 3, so he's definitely got the speed on these guys.
Yeah, he is flying. Wow. So,
Yeah, look, I'm not that quick.
yeah. That's very, very pacey actually. Those times that he's doing there. We're back on the leaders again. It's a cool little livery he's got on this one. Malik loves showing it off. The way to get on stream, boys and girls, is put OOR all over your car, and or maybe a few milk products.
And be incredibly fast.
And yeah, and drive like a maniac. Yeah, slide the car everywhere. This has definitely been doing the old school Japanese drifting videos in a number of the times during the races recently. So it's quite impressive how much he likes to push this car past its limit.
Yeah, and just as a little side note there, Samuel has not actually really dropped off the pace of these two either. He's still sitting at 5 seconds behind. So they're probably all lapping at roughly the same pace now, the top 4 by the look of it, judging by the time gaps. So anything could happen here, and even Samuel, if there is a little bit of an oops between these two, that gap will close down very, very fast indeed.
Yeah, if he gets an absolutely ideal strategy, it could close that up quite a bit, and or if these guys have some bad luck with some traffic and it causes them to battle a little bit, yeah, he's definitely close enough to be able to capitalize. I'm sure he'd like to make that gap a little closer, but it's not too bad. As we're getting the first couple of cars pitting now. Atkins in the pit. And,
as we see Luca here, he's already served his DT for track limits earlier, as we're back up to P14 already, which is quite good. Oh, as we see a little bit of a wobble there from that Audi, but job done. Oh, a switchback. Luca dives a little bit too much. Oh, very close nose to tail there. Get the exit done nice.
He's not going to give this up. He wants it.
No, he definitely wants that position. Robinson is doing very nice against Cameron here.
He's going to send it. No. That's a bit deep though. That's way too deep. Oh, don't. Oh, wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Those are those
Awareness.
all ones. Yeah, good awareness by both drivers. Yeah. Oh,
That
big
is,
setback.
oi, that is interesting.
What a move! I love that. That's great.
That
Good
was
grief.
great. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
looking very nice and spicy. These boys do not want to yield this P13.
No,
No, carry on. That looked great. I
That
was
was
not
that-
expecting that in the slightest, actually.
that is what I call like the perfect dive bomb, where you slide all the way to the apex, a little bit wide, but not wide enough that they can switch back under you, and then you just get on the gas and go, oh, we've got one sent back. Look at this battle. A pro and an amateur going at it, hammer and tongue. Oh,
Oh, geez, that looked very
Yeah.
close, but oh, this is great to watch.
good squeeze. I got
Oh,
a feeling
it-
that he just runs away now, though.
Yeah, now that he's ahead, and then who's
Yeah.
behind? We've got Matthews behind. He might have a bit of a crack here too, but that was actually pretty awesome to watch. But, that was a bit of anything you can do, I can do better, and then oh, but wait, I can do it better again. That was awesome to watch.
He's not going to give it up. he's
No,
pushing hard.
He wants the piece. Oh, as we see Stu here, he's got a bit
He's
of
had
a
a
run
wobble.
here.
Yep.
Should get this done nice and easy as long as he. Oh, that's deep, but he manages to pull it up. Looks like he got through that without too much contact. Yep, job done. Moving on, very nicely done. Mr. Matthews with your grumpy man livery, yelling at clouds, as we like to say.
Yeah, I'd say number 47 there, just my guess is that he's got a little bit too much traction control, because he had a little wob, like just the tiniest slide, and then the car just died. Like it just bogged right down, and all of a sudden we had the yelling at clouds go zooming past at about 10 k's an hour more, it felt like. Right
Yeah,
now.
he may have had a bit of a bobble on exit of turn 2, which does compromise you a little bit. But hard to say at this point as we're back on with Chris here. Oh, that's an interesting line from the McLaren. Track's a little bit more to your right there, mate, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
carry on.
I'd say he slowed it down a fair bit too, just so he was guaranteed not to get a penalty. It's really easy to get a penalty before you even re-enter the track out there. So,
I think you can get double cuts out there too, to be honest.
yeah,
Two speed tokens for the price of one.
seems to be okay. He slowed it down enough. And also that means not going in the wall too, because it is pretty hairy out there. There's lots of marbles on the outside of the track there.
Yeah,
So-
especially in these little mini enduros, survival is key. I mean, you can get away with having a few little moments here and there, but as long as you keep it on the black stuff and out of the wall, you're going to be on for a good race.
Okay, as we're back on the leaders, as they've bunched up a little bit, getting past that lap traffic.
I'm just going to put this out there, but I'm pretty sure that just because we can't see it, there is a bit of a leash between Sang and Burst that doesn't allow them to stretch beyond half a second.
Yeah, there's definitely some sort of Mario Party catch-up speed thing going on here. They lack a band a little bit apart, and then boom, they're back together again. And it keeps happening over and over and over. Every time we check them, one of them's gaining or one of them's pulling away, and it's just keeps swapping between the two, lap after lap.
It is great to watch, though.
Yeah. Hey,
Top
again,
of the class, boys. Nicely done. Showing the master class, as we could always say, of how to race at incredible speeds and incredibly close to one another.
And Samuel's actually pulled in half a second. He's up to 4.5 now. So, yeah, these two are obviously getting a little bit stuck on the traffic, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say possibly a blue flag moment. They both got a little bit held up, whereas Samuel
Look
might
at
not.
that.
Oh, that's a.
Goodness.
I thought there may have been some rear contact there, but nicely pulled up, and that gap is still within that half a second range by the look of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was way too deep, but I think it was probably a little bit slow runners saying on the way in. So it was a combination of one going a little bit deep and one going a little bit easy to try and get a good exit.
It shows that they're both on the limit. You know, they're minor micromanaging tiny mistakes, and one will do one here, one will do one the next corner, but it is just great to watch.
Man, this track it looks so good at night. It's awesome. I'm getting flashbacks to the 8 hour, and we had so many fantastic shots of the car in the cinematic mode of driving around. Like when I wasn't in the driver's seat and I had a co-driver driving for me, I was taking snapshots of the car as we were zipping around because it just looks so good.
It's a
Man,
great way to be.
these two are just showing off how awesome this
Yeah,
track can be.
I dare say they would have caught it. Saying we got caught up in a bit of traffic now. He's dropped back to that 5-second mark. He's slightly behind now. Yeah, just 5.1. So I dare say it was a bit of like traffic that these two got caught up in that closed that gap a little bit. But 5 seconds is not exactly out of contention, especially with 50 minutes remaining in the race. So you'll start to see possibly the top star drivers thinking potentially pit stop in the next little bit. So undercuts, overcuts, as we see the gap close right up on Sang here.
Same spot again. Just totally different lines through there between these two, or different approaches to that corner. Sang really taking a nice wide and slow, smooth entrance to try and capitalize on the exit, and Burr's just going full beans in under brakes, and as he does it again here. So maybe just feeling a bit more confident.
Yeah, I think that's the strong point of the Nissan as well. I haven't really driven it, but I've heard it is an actual acceleration demon. So he could be just using that advantage as he's right up on the rear here of Sang, but I don't say the 3/10 is going to be enough where he can make a move here into turn 1. But just still making sure that ooh, that's a bit close. Good job, boys. Keep going on. As Wellington here is defending against the Marshall, I believe, in the back.
Yep, that is Marshall. He's very close. Again, he's got a pretty good line here. Squiggles a little bit under power. Nothing too bad is happening. It's dropped away a little bit. Man, actually dropped quite a lot.
Yeah, the Audi, once it gets its power down, pretty much decides I'll see you later. Especially if you have a bit of a bog down with the Aston and it's a little bit of turbo issues, but he goes a bit wide there. Unfortunately, that'll cost him a little bit, but actually still maintains a bit of speed through there, so not going to hurt him too much. As we see Tawfiq here in P10 doing quite nice.
Again, nice and hard on the brakes, using all the track. And the drivers are quite spread out now towards the front here. There's realizing just how far ahead our leaders are. They are coming around the second last corner right now, as we're only 7 corners in on this side. So we're almost half the track ahead now on 10th place.
That is pretty impressive.
That's rapid pace, and this split is got a lot of good drivers in it too. So just those two out front are just constantly pushing each other to go faster and faster. Let's swap over to Chris at the moment, and he's right all over the traffic. Is he going to get left by soon? I think it's going to happen now, no? Or is he in front?
No, this is P1 too. Again, this is Sang.
Oh,
and,
wait, no, this is just P1. Oh, for some reason I thought it was traffic.
Yeah, they decided to change that rubber band we're saying down to 3/10. The half second not good enough. As well, I thought the Nissan was going to go wide there, but back out to half a second potentially. But let's see what these boys do, because yeah, I'm pretty sure they are definitely tethered together at this stage.
Yeah, I watch it and I see them constantly running wide, going on the grass, doing this, doing that. I'm like, how are they so fast? But they're just driving 110%. That when they do stick a few corners in a row, they just pull half a second on the car behind them, and then they make a little mistake, and then it comes back down to 3/10, and then bang, we're back out to 7/10, and then bang, we're back to 3/10 again. Oh, these two just will not give it the poor cars a break. I'd hate to be their engineer in real life and working on that car, because it would just be absolutely shagged by the end of the race.
Oh yeah, 100%. As we see two different lines there. And Sang sort of had a bit more of a wider exit, and first went a bit more of a narrower one, staying more towards the right side of the track. Probably try to open up that second last corner, try and get a bit more closer drive here for the exit. You just look how calm and collected he looks. He's not even a phase by as Omar gets another 10 seconds. He's having an interesting race now. I think he's up to 25 seconds of pens, unfortunately.
Ignoring blue flags. That's unfortunate, yeah. It's possibly part of why the leaders, as we've got someone, okay, just blue flag leaving them by. Just realised I'm in the way, let me get off the track. Gotta be careful not to give yourself a penalty for that, or spook the drivers too much.
Yeah, there's definitely moments where you can like that is a very safe moment to just get out of the way and off the track and let those guys through. There obviously are moments in certain tracks like Bathurst where you got to be a little bit more careful over the top, but very nicely negotiated there. That driver that let these two through, very smart move.
Look at that. That's two totally different lines at this corner. They both have a totally different approach to that corner. I got a feeling that Burst is just set up so much better for braking under that corner, and he's just closes the gap right up. Is he close enough to have a half a sniff here? No, not quite.
Oh, he might have a second one into the little chicane here. Oh, sorry, chicane, no, into the hairpin. As I'm just looking over to the YouTube channel, unfortunately, car 22 has been disqualified. They failed to serve their drive-through penalty.
Whoops. Yep.
Big oofs.
Yeah, you gotta take your drive-through in the time range.
Yeah, you've got 3 laps after you get your DT for your track warnings. I mean, if it was a speeding in pits infringement, the stewards would jump onto that and just give you that 10 seconds. But unfortunately, that was track limits.
That's the way. Good job getting out of the way here by the lap traffic. That's exactly what I'd like to see. Well done, and the leaders play on. I love how when lap traffic's involved, often it's like, pause, alright, resume, as you go past someone.
I think you just have to have that sort of mindset as well when you know that definitely there's a battle going on between the front runners coming up behind you, that you're not in their race. It's time to, just make sure you just get off that line, even if it does cost you, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Let them race. You're in your own race. Yeah, don't get involved. It's just, it's really, really good to see. Smart driving.
So we see a lot of cars in the pit right now. We've got 5 cars currently in pit. I think we had a 6th one just leave the pit, and starting to see the order shuffle around a little bit. We are right just past the halfway point now, so most people seem to be doing just a 50-50 split of their thing.
Yeah, it's probably not the worst strat to have in mind with the 45 minutes and then 45 again. Your tyres are pretty much spent. If you're still starting to lose time, or you find, we see Burst dive into the pits and Sang stay out. Let's see if he nails the entry. It looks good. Now we're going for the undercut, which is apparently not too bad, I've heard. Yeah, I didn't get the chance to perform that, but yeah, we'll see how they turn out. Whether Sang will respond this lap by coming in to try and comprehend? That's the wrong wording. I don't know, brain doesn't work too well. But he will definitely try and see if he can either gap him here on this one, or maybe we'll see him dive in and counteract that underturn.
We'll let you off on that one because you've just driven an enduro yourself and now you're commentating one, so that's okay. You're allowed to have a little bit of jelly brain. I get the same thing too, even just from doing a hard qualifying stint or something as well. You tend to use up all. Yeah, English is very hard. People don't realize just how much of your brain it requires to think of a word and talk it out, and react to what's happening on screen.
Yeah, I don't have that many brain cells that can do well with this, especially after racing. So yeah, I'll take my pass, and thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate you being here, and have a good evening. As we've got Mr. Radman John Rad. Welcome. If you're there.
His mic's muted at the moment, I think, but I'm happy to hang around. But yeah, I'm just taking my pass on the English vocabulary skills.
Oh, right. Yes, I thought you were saying, "Oh, I'm out now."
No.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of me that easy.
Nah, he's like, "Oh, that's it. Stuffed up 3 words. That's my limit. I'm going through a drive-through now."
Yeah, the English drive-through.
I'm glad you're going to stay. I'm enjoying this. So, let's see. All right, Mr. Chris is in the pits. So he did answer that straight away. Said, "I'm coming in the pits too." Are we going to actually have the Pro-Am driver leading the race for a little bit as he goes?
Possibly. Where is Kasuna? Kasuna is just coming through that final hairpin at the moment, so I dare say he will take over the race lead for the moment, as we are still on board with Burst at the moment, who's going to see if this undercut is going to be enough to get ahead of Sang. But then again, that rubber band just might be dialed down a little bit further, but we'll see what happens. 3 corners to go. Comes out of the hairpin, looks nice. Definitely got the foot to the floor. Looks like the leader has started to move in the pits. So Sang is moving. Last corner. I actually dare say that Burst has got this. It's a long pit exit. He has got to get to basically turn 3. You see him come into the first chicane. It's a very nice line. Turn 2. Does well. We're going to see the cut. No, the undercut did not. Looks like Sang got an incredible lap because that's a big gap. In half a second, but now it looks like it's just over.
It's got to fire up those tyres though, so I'd say there's going to be a couple of slow corners here. And like you don't, it definitely takes at least half a lap to half get these tyres going. So we'll see if you can have a little attack. It is a second gap at the moment. Pulled up.
The tyres definitely take a little bit. I mean, I'm not as good as these guys in terms of firing up those bits of rubber, but I was finding that it was about 2.5 laps before they got right into that nice pressure window. But as we see, Burst here right up on that rear again.
Same spot.
Yeah, same spot. He just has that heavier braking and a bit more of a launch, but that Beamer has definitely got the legs on it on the straight, I believe.
Yeah, no, Matthew, Mr. Lamb there, we have a live audience spectating at the moment as well, hopping out and seeing your chat there. It's John, are you there? Can we talk to you? No.
No.
He's just, he's just being the audience. As long as they applaud at the right times, it's okay.
He's just holding up the banner with the applause sign every now and then.
Yeah. That's very good. All right, that gap's just returned to where it was pretty much at the front.
Yep, they've hit resume on the rubber band and back to that half a second to 7/10. Enjoy.
Yeah. But it's still pushing it. I don't care. It's just all over the place.
I was gonna say, do they understand there is a thing called track limits? I mean, I'm starting to think there's not. Oh, as we look to the chat, looks like Chris is DC'd.
Oh,
He's doing so well. He was it to like P7 or something, I think, when we saw him in the pits, but that's just.
That sucks. Starting from pit lane and then working his way through the field, doing such a good job, and then man, technical problems. Why? Got to make sure that your computer's in shape, your internet's in shape, the power company knows that you're driving. The kids are in bed, the dog's away, and it's not going to pull out the internet cable.
All the above, and then it can still go.
Yeah, and then it can still go. And then you can just spin out and crash and cause it yourself. But that's the way. Oh, Redmond's gone. All right.
It was nice for you to join us slightly, and then goodbye. As we see Burst again, well up on that rear end of that Beamer. As I said, he probably definitely knows literally every inch of that Beamer and what it looks like, and where he can draw it and replicate it on a spreadsheet for us all. But God, it's good to watch him be this close the entire time. Oh, that was a bit of flashing.
Yep. Yeah, flashing at the back markers, saying please, please, please. I've had this person all over me for an hour straight, and I would like to keep them behind me. Make sure you get out of the way. Think about me. I know you're in a race, but we're up racing for first place.
Yeah, you're entitled to your track, but please, please get out of the way.
Here comes Marshall. Is this a lap on a lap? Is it? Okay, there's two of them getting up. It's the way. Oh, is this a look? No, just a scare. Just a scare. Yeah, he really likes throwing those. He really likes throwing those. As we've got nice lap traffic getting out of the way. Good job. Mr. Marshall still on him.
Yeah, now Marshall can resume the battle with Matthews here. As, yeah, they've done well there to navigate the front runners there. So let's see if Marshall can head down, put that nose in behind the Aston and close up the gap again and go for another nice battle.
Nose is really close here. Oh my goodness. Has he had a look? No.
He's had a bit of a poke.
He just loves putting his nose up the inside to hopefully scare Sang, I'd say. He does it really big. He's all over it.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they're attached now. Yeah. I mean, they're not, but they are.
Super close race.
Ooh, as Matthew goes very wide there. But kept the boot in. Aston says, don't worry about the bumps, thanks very much. They're more of a guideline to a track than anything.
And yeah, these two are having a good little battle for second in class. So Beachholder's just so far ahead, but these guys are having a good battle. P14, P2 in class. Look at amateurs really showing up strong.
Skinner hasn't actually really left much out of the top 10 the entire race so far, so that's a massive showing.
Fantastic drive so far. So,
that is a very deep line there, Marshall. We get the job by doing that. That's alright. Take a breath, calm down, resize up, get the job done.
And yeah, pretty decent exit out of there. Hopefully can pull that gap back into Matthews. It's outside nearly 1.3 now. So yeah, that was a pretty big mistake at the hairpin. So we get a bit of a tight line there. We'd like to see normally a little bit more track used.
Yeah, it could be just that minimum moment. Oh, he's got a blue flag just appeared up in his little bottom left-hand screen there.
Oh, yep, never mind. He's blue flagging now. That's okay. There we go.
See Shady go through.
Yep. Well done. That was very good. A good, I've made a mistake. Let me make sure I don't stuff up the front runner's race. Samuel's just pacing along at that 5-second gap. Still, 5.7 behind. Having a good drive. Like these two out the front are just so stupidly quick. I dare say Samuel would be fighting for the lead in other splits. He's doing
there's
such a good
definitely
job.
nothing wrong with Samuel's pace in the slightest. And even Cook is still sort of been maintaining that 3 to 4 second gap behind Samuel as well. As we still see Burst well and truly attached to the back of this Beamer, which is quite incredible that they've been nose to tail within half a second pretty much for the entire first hour of this race.
I just can't get over how different they are taking this corner. Like every single lap, it's just 3-4 car lengths. First catches every time, but it never avails to anything because he can't get the pass done because of the speed of that Beamer down the straight here.
Yeah, Misano I found is one of those interesting circuits, especially racing it, that you would think just with the way it is laid out and how you can go about it, that overtaking would be like not too bad to get the job done, but it is actually incredibly hard to overtake someone even if they're half a second slower than you per lap. You really have to make sure that you get your runs right. You need them to have a mistake at the right point, so to speak. As we see car 13 receive 15 seconds for causing a collision on lap 34.
It's a bit disappointing. The man we're currently on board with, who's in a battle as well, he's only 4 tenths behind Beachfold in the front. Is that a Beachfold or Beachfold? I can't say.
I think it's
Brett.
Buckhold. I don't know how to.
Oh, Buckhold. Oh, that's right. I got told this last week. I should remember that. Why did I forget? As soon as you said it, yeah.
But mind you, that you're coming from the
this
one that's
battle.
already made mistake from English words and that. So I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm the man that didn't complete English at school and also dyslexic at the same time. So it's a double, triple whammy bad for me.
You gave me earlier, so you can have a freebie as well. Oh, as we see a little bit of a nose poke. But obviously, Buckhold there is well and truly entitled to rights on the track. In P7 there, doing exceptionally well for the leading his Pro-Am class at the moment. Buck goes incredibly wide there on the exit of turn 3.
Does tyre pickup affect in this game? If you run wide, do you pick up that rubber? I can't remember.
I do believe it does, yeah. I know that you have a bit of a moment when you go into like the grass or the sand, and that the next couple is the laps is a bit sort of sketchy and to get them back into the right sort of moment, but not 100% sure on that. So,
yeah, no, definitely in real life, if you see that much rubber on the ground and you're driving over it, you are in for a world of hurt when you try to turn the next corner. Nothing like old rubber that's not attached to your tyres, stuck to your tyres. There's a reason we call them marbles.
slide.
Man, this that was pretty intense. Look at the speed difference at the end of the straight. That Porsche just has no go. That is unbelievable. It's like he was missing a gear there.
Yeah, either that or possibly there could be a bit of a strat there. I mean, he is carrying a 15-second pen there, so maybe Stefan there thought, you know what, just go ahead, rather than try and have contact. Just go. I've still got 15 seconds up my sleeve. If I stay within that the next half hour, I've still got the posse at the end of the day.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's possibly the play. I think he feels I'm losing time trying to hold you off, because yeah, being a quote unquote endurance race, you do not want to, waste 5 or 10 seconds battling when just letting them pass would have only cost you a total of 3 or something, or 2. Really
As we
play
just
that
see,
out.
Luca in the background there have a bit of a nice dive into turn 3 there.
I
Getting
think
the
that was
job
on lap
done.
traffic actually.
Oh, was that lap traffic? I thought it might have been
Yeah.
position. I was a bit excited for a second.
Yeah, I think he was quite adamant about trying to get past in the previous straight. I think it's
Yeah,
got
that
to be.
definitely makes sense. I just looked
Yeah.
at the timing schedule. That's my bad.
No, that's fine. He's trying to recover from. He got a drive through early on, didn't he? That was what the issue
Yeah.
was. Yeah, track limits, I'd say, but he's working his way back up.
Once again, he just sort of, that Beamer gets the better exit here, but then the missing through these hairpins. First just seems to close that 4 car lengths right up, especially on this second one. This one is not as close as normal, but I don't know, the way this looks on the camera angles and the way he is here, he just definitely closes up that line so much more.
Yeah, it goes from 6 to 2 every time.
Yeah, 100%. It's just those 2 different lines, 2 different drivers, 2 different cars. It's great to watch.
Yeah, and then it normalizes. He loses a car on the exit, but then he's got the tow for this whole straight. This is quite a long section of straight, considering, it's just flat out for so much time. So that slipstream is actually quite big by the end. He ends up, half a car length behind by the time they get through this hairpin. And then it'll stretch out. They must be running totally different, different setups on where they want to be fast. Let's say probably quite a bit different on the wing or something like that.
Although this is the closest he's
Oh,
been
here we
into
go.
turn 1.
He loves that. Almost looks out of control when he flings the car to the inside. He's done that a number of times. The car just wobbled around.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get that flash across the mirror there for Sang. But in all honesty here, maybe do the old JC strat and turn your mirrors off. That way you don't see it. Maybe Sang has done something like that and just goes, no, I'm going to do my lines. And if you want to have a good crack, then make sure you do it nice and safe.
3 DQs, says Page. Yep, it's not been a good run for DQs this race. Had a couple of DC and they're falling a little bit like flies, but the guys that are still running are having a good old battle. So it looks like Luke has gotten past. No, hasn't got past yet.
That's the back mark still, but he's racing Blackfold here. He was doing an incredible job sitting in P8 and holding off Luca here, but they are incredibly close to one another. Ooh, car behind as well. I'm not sure what car number that is, but be careful. You do not want to contact a driver that is a lap ahead of you at this stage, but this is great driving to watch.
That. Oh, here we go. Another one. Oh no, Omar is not having a good race this race. Those penalties are getting really, really long.
But that's the second one for blue flags, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, actually, this is Omar here. This is who Omar is. Is that right? Yeah, this is Omar we're watching behind this battle. So he was sort of holding up. He was holding up Luca when he was there, but he's quite pacey. So he's out of position because he was in the top 10 at one point there. But due to drive-throughs and other shenanigans, he's ended up all the way back here. And just very, very out of position. Really shouldn't be a lap down on these guys, as you can tell by his pace. But unfortunately he is, so he's got to let them race.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. We're seeing this some nice lines of defense here against Luca. Had a bit of a moment there, I looked, unless that's just the way the Porsche handles that hairpin. Not too sure about that car, never driven it, kind of scares me. But
Yeah.
doing a good job so far against Luca.
The way to describe it is the attitude of the car that you have in every corner. Just add another 2 to 4 degrees of slip angle when you're driving the Porsche. So if you turn in and you got a little bit of a drift happening, it's just add another 2 to 4 degrees extra slip angle because you're a Porsche.
We
It's
just seen Luca
always
get a
one figure.
15-second penalty for a contact too.
Oh wow, okay. And yeah, as the move gets done, obviously, Bechtold almost letting him pass, just sort of fell off the track a little bit wide there.
Yeah, maybe got a little bit surprised with seeing the penalty rock up for Luca and just thought, oh okay, but then, yeah, who knows? But that's it. But Burst is still 4/10 behind.
Yep.
Oh, as they come up on a bit of lap traffic here.
Is it going to be in the way? It's distracting. That's the thing it does do. It does distract you. Even if it's not necessarily in the way. Oh, look at the slipstream. He's going for the slipstream. Trying to get every
Why
little
wouldn't
bit.
you with Luca? With Lucas behind you. I'd be going for as much slipstream as I can every chance I could.
This is
He is
close.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's incredibly close now.
Still just doesn't get the power down off those corners though. So, yeah.
As we see the gap close right back up there. And then it should have go here because that beam gets a little bit of legs on it, but that is very close.
It's got the
Might see
toe
a bit
this
of a
time.
move. Might see a move coming into the final hairpin depending how close that Nissan is.
We're going to see the flash across the rearview mirror. That's what we're going to see. That's what my weapon is on. He's going to just poke his nose a little bit. No, he's not quite close enough. Never mind. And he's back to that half a car length of the hairpin. It is literally just copy and paste each lap for these two.
Yeah, just looking at the split times here, or not much times per these drivers, but looking back at Samuel as well, he has dropped off the pace. He's now 7.6 seconds behind these guys. They're either doing some incredibly quick laps, which they are anyway, and Samuel just can't keep up with it, or he's just decided, you know what, I'm going to sit in my little bubble here and be happy with P3.
Yeah. And Cook's the same gap behind Samuel as he's been most of the race too, so he hasn't really slowed up that much. It's just these front two are just absolutely pushing the limits. I love watching two drivers that are at the peak just push each other past the peak, if that makes sense. That's really what these two are doing. It's
Yeah, definitely
just,
driving over their 100% capacity for sure.
yeah, this is cool, and this is how you improve. Is just you have, well, Burrs has that carrot on a stick, and Zhang has that chew up the bum. This is the way. But they both have the incentive of go a little bit faster, go a little bit
Just
faster.
drive faster. Yeah. I must admit, probably one of my favorite things that I can, well, at least I attempt to do, is having just that car slightly out of your reach, but it gives you that moment that you like, you can sort of smell blood in the water, like you want to try and chase him down to get that overtake. It does make you drive faster, as we see him being that literally half car length behind again. God, these guys are good to watch.
Yeah, and this has been both races this season. These two have just not left each other alone. It's been really, really cool to watch. And I've got a feeling it's just going to be all season. I hope they can both show up to every single race as well. It'd just be so good.
Do you think they have a message like after the race or before race? Oh, look, I did this last race. How about you win this one by 3/10? No, we win this one by 3/10. It's fine.
No, I really do feel that they are just battling for it, unless they're just AIs and they're programmed to do this or something. You know, it's getting to that point where it's like, how many times can they drop a wheel and keep the car and have a slide and keep the car and then close the gap back up again? Like, how many times can they do that?
Did you see that Aston slide out of turn 2?
I did. That was a nice little Jeremy Clarkson power moment.
Yeah, as you see, Rocker here looking very speedy in his Lambo, trying to get on the back of Marshall. But that Aston had a nice big power slide through turn 2. It was Tokyo drift style for sure.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
What's the best sounding engine in the game?
Whoa. Oh god, I could upset a lot of people here. I do have a soft spot for the Bentley.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds awesome, but at the same token, I absolutely love the screaming sound of the McLaren at top revs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I really like there's a number of beautiful sounding V8 style engines, and then they all sound cool in their own way. But I think Malik swapped to the Honda. Is that what he's done, or is he just showing the Honda? I'm like, is that him suggesting that he likes the sound of the Honda?
Oh, possibly.
Possibly, but yeah, I drove the Porsche for a season. Really enjoyed that sound. That's got a nice note. Porsches in real life have a good note too, so yeah, they've replicated it quite well. And yeah, probably the Macca. Maybe it's got a soft spot for it for no particular reason, but
I just like how you've got to literally have it screaming to get the speed out of it. I don't know. It makes you sound. It sounds like you're going incredibly fast, even when you're not. So I think maybe that's the reason why I like it. It makes me feel like I'm a faster driver.
Yeah, that's there's nothing wrong with that. It's a quite an awesome sounding engine. It's a fantastic bits of machinery, all of them. And yeah, to be honest, there's not really any wrong answers, is there, in this class? Or
no, not at all. And just gonna go into the chat here. Yeah, no pro ski from you, Gorilla. We don't want to hear that. We're not about me tonight. We're about everyone else. Our verse is still main. Oh, actually, there's a bit more of a gap here. But yeah, the pro finals with the top sort of 8 drivers or even 6 drivers from across all the splits is going to be incredibly spicy to watch. It's going to be great racing all around, I believe.
I wonder if these two are going to be close together in that, whether there's going to be a car in between them.
Well, I don't know if there's a room for a car in between them in some of these corners, but definitely good to watch.
Yeah. Do you know what race that is? It we do a one race at the end or a couple of races at the end?
There's 3 rounds of finals. I have a sneaky suspicion the tracks are Imola, Barcelona, and I want to say London, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I think there's just the 3 rounds. Don't know how the finals are laid out on how you get into them, whether it's top 8 drivers per pro or pro-am or whatever across all the splits, but should be some incredible racing once we get to these 5 rounds done and get into 3 rounds of final.
Yeah, well, that's something to look forward to. I mean, it's just like the level of racing we're getting in these, the most diverse splits we have, which is this version of it. And when that we really separate people into their speed categories, that's going to be really interesting to watch. Oh, we've got a car off on the back straight, driving the sand trap and getting back on.
No, you don't. Who's that Bubnet guy? I've heard that's wrong. Wrong.
Bubnet.
We don't need to talk about that. That's not a thing.
Yeah. It's like a person who's parked on the back straight, so got it on the black stuff again and going again. I believe it was 88. It was 88, 86. I can't quite read the numbers that well.
My eyesight's not that good either, so
yeah,
can't help you on that one.
I guess it's the Lambo.
Oh, come on, Hamster, don't be like that towards me, buddy. I thought we were friends. We were teammates for a season.
Yeah. All right. By the way, guys, I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm super keen to drive the next Enduro if I can. I've got a rig now, so I have no excuses.
What did you get?
An old play seat. I got 5 of them.
Oh, so you didn't want to go for one. You wanted to be greedy and have one for every day of the week.
Yes, one for every day of the week. Yeah.
Have your weekend rest days, huh?
Yeah. So I have an event coming up that I was doing a meetup at, and we needed some, and we've been looking and looking and looking, and out of the blue, someone messages one of the guys who's part of the company. Oh, geez, are you doing that esports thing? Oh, do you want some play seats? And it's like, yes. And she's like, you'd have them for free. We're going to throw them in a dumpster. I was like, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want them now.
Yeah, for sure. So it's
I believe that's for what is it, the 11th or something of March?
11th and 12th of March. Yep.
In Melbourne, yeah. So I think you can get your tickets through. I think they're on the
Malik's link.
this one. And
Yeah,
Alex,
yeah.
you'll be able to get all that details and done.
Do that. It supports the community if you get it through his link. It's very good. And I'm excited to meet a whole bunch of people from Wawa that I've been racing with for the last couple of years. That's what I'm really keen to do. And it's also my birthday that weekend, so yeah. The joke is it's a big giant birthday party for me that I decided to run.
Everything for you.
Yep.
Nothing to do with just a surprise birthday. At the end of the day, it's all a big farce. And yeah, just massive birthday party at the expo.
Drinks on Justin at the Games Expo. Well, yeah, I mean it's quite literally like a massive event. It's a very big square footage, and there's an after party as well. Oh no!
Oh,
Stop
no,
go 30. Whew.
Oof.
88.
Oof.
That is a big. That is you've messed up big time when that big stick comes out. That's unfortunate for whoever got caught in that.
That's a paddling. I don't know whether we're going to get to see a replay of that. I'm not sure whether we want to see a replay of that either. Yeah,
No.
that's just unfortunate.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah, I'm going to try and get down to the expo. I'm sorry for cutting you off there, but whether I actually will be able to do so or not, yeah, we'll wait and see. Depends if everyone keeps trying to slap me with the pro badge. Maybe I'll just have to take a week off and say, oh, no, sorry, I can't. Then I'll lose a bit of speed and yeah. Oh, Stu, that was close, mate. Very nice.
Well, if you go to LAN, you might be LAN proof, and you might prove how good you are by beating everyone at a LAN on the same conditions.
Oh God, yeah, don't put that pressure on me.
Yeah. Oh, my future plan for it's one day to be able to have. I tried to get it to happen this year, but we just couldn't get enough rigs. I wanted to do a Le Mans race but the plan is 20 rigs, and have people. Their pit stops are swapping as we're getting a shot in the crowd.
That's a very interesting trick.
Yep. Swapping drivers as like you come in the pits and you don't press the button, you actually physically swap drivers. Here we go.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be a really fun thing to do. So, we've got a car lighting up.
Oh, hello, 88.
He's just out there. How did he end up out there? Okay. Yep.
I think clearly the Ferrari engineers from earlier have decided to go to Lambo instead.
Yep. We've got people. That's the second person we've had leave the track limits. Oh dear.
You gotta love the Kunos features sometimes.
What is going on? Oh man. All right. I wonder if that's what he got to stop go second 34 for running over pedestrians.
Can you penalise someone for that in this game?
Yeah, I don't know.
I suppose it's technically a collision, isn't it?
Yeah, collision. Literally killing spectators. It's probably pretty frowned upon. We've got a little battle breaking out here in the mid-pack. 13 and 14. Oh, there's never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's got a big DT next to that number, sadly. So Stu's got off the hook there a little bit. We'll maintain second in class at the moment as we're watching the replay. Oh, big snap. Big snap. Oh, that was close. And is this where it goes bad?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, that was, he almost hit the other ones as well. Jesus.
Yeah. That is brown flags all over the place there.
Yeah, look, I would not want to be one of those cars trying to avoid that.
Yeah,
But
I can
nice
see what
done.
his intention was. He was thinking, I'll go all the way across the track and then I'll just gain up speed from the inside there, but left it a little bit too late to just dive across the track.
Yeah, and I think at the point where saw the car, he's like, oh god, I got to turn left. Oh god, there's another, and then it's just like oh no,
Yeah.
he's already dead. Stop.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, we learn from our mistakes.
Yep. This gorilla said, "You can't park there, sir." No. Very true.
Well,
Lambo
we-
life. Oh dear. That's a very big
We've had Burst just well and truly drop off. He's 3.5 seconds
Yeah.
behind. Something must have happened there. He's fried the living hell out of his tyres.
That's what I was
Sang's
thinking.
probably having a nice breather now, going, "Thank you. I no longer have the indentation of a Nissan permanently scorched into my mirror."
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, he dropped back to about 2 seconds, and yeah, it's just gone a little bit further. You're probably right. He probably over pushed when he tried to do the undercut, and blistered his tires on the out lap, I'd say, and it's just hurting him now. He doesn't have enough tread
Yeah.
left.
Could also be on the 3 limits of his warnings. Potentially he
That
doesn't
too.
want to get a DT and lose P2, but
Yeah.
we will never know.
Chris is just unshakable though. He's just like to deal with that pressure for the last hour and 10 or 15 minutes is just insane. He's done such a good job. Really kept it tight. Even when the car behind was so much faster in certain spots of the track, he just kept his head down and continued doing good laps. As back on with Stuart Matthews. Looking at the lovely Simpsons livery. Old man shouts at clouds.
There's no clouds out here tonight, Stu, so your livery's a bit sort of, what were you yelling at the stars tonight?
Yelling at the stars, yeah.
Pro-Am.
Number 8, that's a turtle over the back. Like, really appreciates a good skin. It's what makes it disgusting is the fact that it's all over the diffuser. Like,
I didn't even realise that until you pointed that out. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
yeah.
Yep, okay, I'm with it now. But...
Yeah,
Oh,
it's even
under
underneath.
it.
No, he says no. No. Oh dear. Fantastic. But again, let your memes be dreams. That's we've got to have people out there that enjoy scorching other people's eyeballs. It's all part of it.
Well, it's got to be a favourite pastime for some.
What we need to do is get them a sponsor so that they can what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, get them a sponsor so that they have to have a nice livery. So just give them $5. Be like, I'm gonna sponsor you this next season. Can you put this logo on, make a nice livery for me? We might have to do that. But then people would deliberately make bad ones so that we start sponsoring them $5 per car or whatever.
This could become a very expensive outing for you. Everyone heard it on YouTube. Justin's going to be sponsoring everyone to make better liveries, so it's $5 a car.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Or maybe I'll just pay Lamp $5 a car. I'll just say, mass produce me something or something. Get an AI to do it or something. That's the way. Make it easy for us. But Mr. Lamp produces some pretty amazing liveries. In fact, there's a number of people making really awesome liveries in our OR community.
Yeah, I'm definitely not one of them.
No.
I had my first crack at the one that I'm doing this season, and it took me far too long to admit to how long it was, but it's as good as it's going to get. So yeah, the top tier guys out there doing the liveries, my hat goes off to you, because it is incredible how you managed to line everything up, because it took me far too long to get these simple images to match as best as I could, and they're probably still not right.
I just use the in-game edit. I don't do it outside the in-game. It's just make it purple, make it black, make it a cool shade, and then maybe put a sticker and a number on it, and that's about it. It's just, even in like the old Need for Speed games and stuff, I just barely touched my cars. It was always very simple. Go the Subaru with the blue with the gold rims, and just make it easy. It's just
go for what worked.
Yeah, exactly. Go for work. This is a nice livery. This is really, really, really nice. This is a beautiful thing.
That is impressive. The difference, the glowing of the exhaust.
Yeah. Has he added that, or is that?
No, I'm not sure. I'm assuming that
yes.
might be just a game thing, possibly. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does look cool though.
Do we have another Nissan we could look at, Mark? Let's look at hers and see if it's got the glow on that car. Surely that's not. Surely that's part of the game. Yeah, it's part of the
it's
game.
game. That's cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. Fantastic. Grills down the side so you can see the. Look at the slotting and gapping on that. That's like F1 style, like a big Venturi there for the exhaust. Shooting the flames out the side too.
That is
That's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah. This game's a beautiful game. Really, really well done.
Do appreciate it. I mean, I still race it now. I'm getting more involved in the faster I've been getting, because you know, once you get that little bit of speed, you go, oh, I can catch up, and it's like, oh, maybe I can go a little bit
Yeah,
faster.
portions are glowing here too. Let's go. Wow.
I dare to touch it. Well, now I've used-
I
Oh no,
still-
Molly! Oh no!
So yeah, the pair of binoculars you look through it, right? Oh yeah, and Audi, everyone's got glowing exhausts, so it must be quite hot. Hot.
I guess running at these speeds for, you know, 90 minutes, yeah, it'd be a little bit spicy. Might be able to cook your dinner, right?
Yeah, I know someone that cooked their leg on an exhaust by leaning up, like as in that the car rolled back a little bit towards them and put a nice ring burn mark on their leg that scarred. So they're forever marked by the. Oh, was it a go-kart? It was a go-kart. It was a go-kart on the grid. That's what it was. Yeah, it's very easy. Ooh, because we're going a little bit wider, letting traffic through.
I was gonna say, I think that was a blue flag letting someone through there.
Yeah, that's nice job. Do you like that Pertex skin there? That's one of my favourite in this class at the moment.
Flash through and pretty. It's actually not too bad. That reminds me of back in the V8s when Mark Sandra was in the Pertec car, actually.
Yeah, I think that's what it's inspired by, surely. Top 5.
Oh,
all
it
different
is.
manufacturer. This sure is, yeah. Which for this class, I swear last time it was like 7 in the top 10 were BMWs. It was shocking.
It is cool to see though, the manufacturers.
They're all pretty
Beamer,
basic.
Nissan, Aston, Honda, McLaren, very nice.
I just realised it's actually catching on Saturdays. Only
4
a second
years too.
behind now. Yeah, it was 5
It was
or
about
6
4 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. It's sort of bounced between 4 and 6 seconds over the whole race really. But, this is the closest battle on track at the moment. 3/10. Although
Technically not a battle, just a 10.
yes. So maybe just kind of sit here.
I think if if you could sort of realise that they got a pen, I mean, I'm pretty sure he does, then just sit behind, stay within the thing, you're going to get the posse anyway.
Oh no, Samuel just got a drive through.
Oh, that's a track limit one as well, that's
Yep.
unlucky. But,
2 minutes left.
yeah, I was going to say, don't serve, just take the pen. I think
Yep.
you
It's
get
30
less time.
seconds, right?
Yeah, I think if you cross the line with the DT, it's just straight 30 seconds, but I think the transversal time here is much more than that. So
Yeah.
put your foot down, just, yeah, that's unlucky.
So that's going to be Cook getting 3rd place for free. Just hand it to him. But, I mean, he did apply the pressure. He did narrow that gap down, so kind of earned it. I'm sure he would have loved to have been able to pass him, but yeah, you apply that pressure and the mistakes come out. Samuel will kick himself because he's drove him such a good race.
Been a pretty nice race for Sam, but yeah, once again, even though he wasn't in the mirrors, but constantly being behind him, you know, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, or whatever it is, or maybe even 2 seconds for quite a stint, that still puts enough pressure on you to that you're like, oh, I can't really let off here, or I've got to push it a little bit further. Can I gap it to make it easy for myself? And I guess it has just forced him into that situation where unfortunately he has got his, oh, he's actually going to serve it. Oh no.
Really? Obviously he doesn't know the ideal strategy there, but he's probably going to lose 2 spots because of it now instead of just the 1.
Yeah, because I don't know what the transversal is, but that's. Does anyone in chat know what the time is from pit entry to exit here for Misano? Is it more than 30 seconds? Surely it would be.
gotta be. He's only halfway down the thing now. He's getting past. So that is a lot. He's yeah. There's the position. Yep, he's gonna lose this. Or
Oh, it's going to be tight.
yeah, the race is gonna end this lap too. I think. Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
Or is
he's
he
lost
out?
it to Johnson as well. Because here comes Johnson now.
Here we go.
Well, no, he's just
Never
ahead.
mind.
Oof.
Oh, okay. He's kept the spot. Wow.
That is costly, but he's maintained fourth. But
Okay.
should be far enough ahead now that it's not really going to concern. Oh, we've had a bit of a whoopsie in the hairpin.
This is tight. Oh yeah, we've had a spin and people going off track.
Was that triple three?
Missed that one, but it's on. And here comes, yeah, Chris Sang for the win, flashing his lights. Really, really, really good drive. And Burrs as well,
Leader has
like
finished the race.
just top stuff by these two. And Sang just seeming untouchable this race. Cook coming around in third.
Comes right. Gets his last step on the podium. Very impressive drive, sir. Nicely
Yeah,
done.
well done.
Masterclass effort there. Unfortunately for Shady, would have had P3, but the old track limits got the best of him. I'm pretty sure he's going to hang on to P4 here. Johnson's just not close enough to make anything really happen. And I doubt there's going to be any mistake coming around this final bend here in the Aston. No, nice and easy. Nice P4 and P5.
Yeah, still a good race. He drove really, really well. There's the Castrol colour scheme on that car.
Those look nice.
Yeah, I keep saying it reminds me of the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 1 Gran Turismo games, and the Castrol painted up cars. It just seems to give me that vibe, even though that is the theme of the cars that they used in the rally back in the day. And here's the double 15-second penalties coming across the line.
Yeah, I think Park have enough space here to keep his P7. It depends.
And gonna finish P9 as everyone crosses the line.
Green light.
And that's it. Do you want to take us through the positions of the races?
Yeah, sure, no worries. So for overall, we have Sang, who gets the win over Burse and Cook. Oh, as we switch back to different timetables, we'll wait for it to redo its thing. Yep, so Sang, Burse, Cook for the overall win. Pro-Am is Bucktold over Matthew and Marshall. And amateur, we've got Skinner, Wellsman, and Mercer comes in for the amateurs. Silvers, we got, I'm going to butcher that name, but Hudama, Omar, and Skinner. And that is the end of Split
Show them what you
Red.
got.
Yeah, fantastic race up the front there. It was just, I mean, that's the story of this split, is just these two just will not leave each other alone, and they're so fast, and everyone just sits here going, I don't know if I could even get close to that. You know, like, how do you drive that fast all the time on the limit?
Well, one day, lots of practice.
One day, lots of practice, you know. Leave my wife, leave my kids, leave everything, just drive. Just
I'm
drive,
not going to
drive,
go
drive,
that
drive,
far,
drive.
but yeah, that
No.
sounds like a good idea. Well, all right, well, thank you for having me and jump in for Split Red, and thanks to YouTube chat and everyone involved. I enjoyed my evening.
Yeah, appreciate that, Sean. Thank you very much. Big shout out to Mike for doing the stream, even though he's not feeling well. Everyone send your love his way. Well done, chat. You've been well behaved tonight, and yeah, that was a fantastic race. Good race to finish it. And congrats on being upgraded to pro now, Sean.
Oh, God, don't mention it. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Good night, everyone.